All right, so last time the party had finished freeing up Whetstone and decided to go back to King's Harbor to report their findings on what had transpired in that village, and the city being unaware of anything going on there. Um, but the party had reason to believe that something was going on, so they went to Whetstone and found out that it was overtaken. So they ended up going through and freeing the village, and then now made their way back to report. Um, However, on the road to King's Harbor, the party was attacked in the middle of the night by one of their own, Sibble, who took on some beast like humanoid form and attacked one of her party members in the middle of the night. Um, However, she was subdued. And the party decided to take precautions to make sure that she was restrained and that she wouldn't go berserk or on rampage anymore, and that she wouldn't injure anybody else. They ended up uh, restraining Sibble and Dothra to make sure that there wasn't any possibility of any of the rest of the party members getting infected or having any other transformations. They were under watchful eye for the remainder of the trip, thankfully, which was only like another day or so. But after arriving at the temple in King's Harbor, the party went to see Isaac and to kind of see what information he had on what happened to Sybil and see if he had any ideas on what this is, what might have happened to her, and if it is something that can be fixed, or just to see what his knowledge is. So you guys met with him and explained the situation of what your guys' knowledge of what happened is, and Sybil seemed to get a little irritated with the conversation and how everybody was really just pushing the subject and wanting to know more. And it seemed like she was about to lose control again before Isaac stepped in and seemed to calm her and keep her from another transformation within the temple. So that is where we pick up, is you guys having a conversation with Isaac, and he has finished keeping Sybil civil, shall we say. So Isaac says, Sybil, let's just we don't know everything about what has happened to you, and from what you guys have said, uh, the bits and pieces of the symptoms that she was exhibiting while you guys were traveling, and even before you left Whetstone. Um, I don't know much about this, but I'm sure there's resources here that we can use to try to figure that out. But let's just try to keep a cool head. Sybil takes a seat and, okay, yeah, uh, sorry, I don't know. And you see her in a state that you haven't really seen Sybil in, where she is genuinely confused and doesn't know what to do. And at the same time, very shaken about what has happened to her, and she doesn't know what to do. It's not something that you can just go to your general store and buy, some kind of healing salve, and it's going to go away. We don't know what this is. And it seems to be something along the supernatural. So you guys see that she's in a bit of a dire straits and kind of beside herself, which you haven't seen really Sybil in this type of state before. But what are you guys gonna do?
Hmm. Do we feel confident that if we left her here at the temple with Isaac, that would be a good choice while the rest of us go take care of stuff in town? Or should we all stick together at the temple because we don't know the next time she's gonna crack?
Well,
And
yeah, I forgot
did we
to change
confirm
the music before.
whether Dothra was really impacted, or
You guys, over the course of after the attack, you have not seen Dothra exhibit any similar symptoms that Sibble was. The occasional like pain that Sibble had whenever you guys were still in Whetstone. The excessive sweating and just being exhausted and things like that. It didn't. Dothra didn't exhibit any of that. So it could be that Dothra was just very resilient and was able to ward off whatever, whether this is an infection or whatever. She might have a good enough constitution that she was able to ward it off, or it could be that there wasn't any need to worry to begin with. You guys don't know, but
okay?
She wasn't exhibiting any symptoms similar to what Sybil was before the transformation. So, well, Isaac speaks up. I definitely think that Sybil should stay here until we can figure out what this is, whether it can be cured, whether or not this is something that she's going to have to control, or just to figure out what we're dealing with. Because if she's out on the road with you guys and just having a conversation is enough to irritate her, I don't know what it's going to be like and how she's going to handle being in stressful environments wherever you guys go. So it might be better for her to stick around here. Sybil looks over at Derek and says, I know you were coming with us and looking for a fresh start, but would you be interested in working with me or working for me for the time being? And would you be interested in that? Derek is leaning up against the wall and not exactly the corner, but it kind of has his arms crossed. Thinks about it for a bit. Oh, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, you guys are a good group, and I don't know exactly. I haven't really come across whatever it is that you're going through, but I'm happy to help in however I can and be a bodyguard if need be. Isaac kind of looks at the rest of you and says, all right, well, what do you guys want to do? What do you guys think?
Well, it's been confirmed that whatever we decide to do, Sybil should stay put. So that was my question answered right there.
Granted, again, Isaac speaks. I don't know much about this, so I don't know whether or not that's the right call, or whether it's better to have her on the move. I don't know. I'm just going with my judgment here and assuming from what you guys have told me and from what we've dealt with even just in this short period of time with you guys being here today, that's where my head's at. And if I can keep her in a
controlled
civil state, then maybe we can find some way to get answers on what it is we're dealing with here.
Agreed.
Well, considering it seems to be early in whatever hostile takeovers taking Sibble over, to make sure she's observed and making sure a spectacle doesn't happen. I think to be prudent on not a lot of activity until knowing once she does travel how she can travel safely without having what happened on the road when we got here. Uh, when we understood from her story, at nighttime, not during the day, but at night it seemed to be when she was most vulnerable. She didn't even know what happened.
Okay.
And also, some of the tales that I read about in some of the stories mentioned something about at nighttime also. There might be a correlation. Sometimes stories have bits of truth in it. You just have to find the truth in some of the stories. And that seemed to have gone hand in hand. But for right now, I think calmness is the best way to soothe the beast. And at least for the first couple days. After that, she might be more have fortitude towards those environments. But for right now, she's very fragile in those states, though she is very strong in her transformation. But for her mentality, I think she needs time to heal and gather, so that way she can best get a grip on whatever's taking hold of her.
Sybil, do you? I mean, you're the one that's going through this. You're the one that this is affecting. So, what do you think? Well, I really don't want to the possibility of hurting my friends or companions, and I don't know what this is, but I think it would be good until we figure out what it is that this is. I think it would be a good idea to at least stick around you. That way I have less of a chance of losing control. Yeah, I agree.
Well,
All
that
right.
is settled.
Well, I think in time we should be able to find a direction to locate and possibly pinpoint where this seems the passing of, I'll call it a disease because that's usually something that takes something over, but still lives within, where we may be able to find an answer to rid her of this blight that's inside her. But for right now, obviously, to make sure she can have self-control before she ventures out where something worse could happen.
And we can always do, like Sibble and I will do our due diligence to find what this is, and we'll do some digging, see what we can find, see what we can dig up for what this is, any historical records and whatnot. The library here in the temple for King's Harbor is quite extensive, but it's hard to tell if they'll have all of the information that we'll need. But if something like this is mentioned, we ought to find at least something mentioning something similar or whatever to give us an idea of what we're dealing with.
Do you have other clerics or priests in the temple that are educated or taught in the ways of alchemy?
I would have to ask around. I haven't really ran into anybody and have in conversation had them tell me that they enjoy looking into alchemy and whatnot, but I'm sure there are some that have some knowledge in that field.
I'm curious because we have this glimmer that was used that transformed these people into these creatures.
They transformed them into what Sibble is.
No, this was an earlier problem. seems to be a lot going over in Whetstone earlier. These creatures that were similar to trolls, but had their own attributes because they were made from a person and not from some earlier form. And this material is black goo that I have, and there's recipes for it. And I wanted to see if some of them would have some answers of how it was made and if there's anything similar to that.
I mean, we can look into it. Do you have a spare vial? I could see who I can find and give it to them and see what they come up with.
Well, I do, and I have the written stuff here too. So that way they wouldn't go off with just trying to slowly.
Yeah, from scratch.
Yeah.
Understandable.
So I can give them the book that has the recipe, a trial and error for Glimmer that was gotten from Maxwell, I think was the fellow.
Gilius.
Gilius.
Gilius was the
Gilius.
foreman.
Yes. Gilius.
Okay. Yeah, I will see who's here that has at least some expertise or knowledge in that, or we might be able to find someone that is well versed in that field and
I would
see what
also
their
like to look
opinion is on it.
into on some deeper books about how to empower items. I would like to see about myself to be able to help. Possibly when we do adventures, encounters, I might be able to get someone some bumped up armor or weapons to be able to take on adventures.
Are you looking for basic stuff, or are you
Yes.
looking more advanced?
No basics. I want to start from the bottom and work my way up.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, we have the library here in the temple would have some
You have a
books
hands-on
with-
course.
Um,
So like story night, you know.
I mean,
Get
there
your online
Yeah.
doctorate.
I'm sure if we asked around, we could find someone that would be willing to
do
spend
you
some
have
time with you for that.
a spot in the temple here where you guys specifically go and enhance weapons?
I mean, we have rooms
once a
for
month or
empowering items. Yes, there
Okay.
are rooms for that.
I would like to venture into starting up in that category. I have studied in it, but I haven't enhanced to practical application yet.
Okay.
So, and since we have access to Imbumonite, and also I have some of that knowledge to be able to learn now. I have been a higher level of cleric now, and I have that mental access. I would like to be able to put it to physical reality to be able to help protect towns and people with these types of enhancements of items.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's something that we can. I can show you around, or we can find somebody to take you around and show you those rooms, or if you want to check out some books or whatever, we can go over to the main library as well. I mean, that's
So I would like to
That's
spend the
up
rest
to
of the day doing that then.
okay. The rest of you have anything that you would like to go to the library for, or?
Not me. I
Uh,
agree that Derek, he talked about being a bodyguard or whatever. I think he should be left behind with Sibble in case Isaac needs to walk away or do something or is on temple business somewhere else. Derek can be there to make sure that Sibble, is in check, or if she needs to be sequestered into a secure room or something like that. He can make sure that that happens.
Okay.
Because he was there when she changed that night too, so he knows kind of what to expect from that. So,
Okay.
start your bodyguard duties now.
Do you have any research that you wish to do, or?
Not me personally, no.
You could probably bond with your bear a little more.
Hello, bear. Howdy, bear.
He's been
Hi.
close to death a few times.
We both have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oak did not come into the temple. He stayed in the
Okay.
courtyard.
Yes.
With
He's busy
you.
sniffing
Which,
the air.
when you came into when you came into the city, you did get some occasional strange looks of why is there this massive bear walking with
Haven't
this
you
group?
heard we're a circus act? We took his necklace off.
But at the same time, he wasn't causing a ruckus or misbehaving, so they didn't really freak out or anything. But you did get some strange
Boo Boo
looks.
didn't take no picnic basket.
So, what about
Doc,
big folks?
Before people separate, Dothra I would have asked should we all kind of go off and look and research kind of what's going on with Sibble and see if we can find more, talk to people to do anything and see if maybe it'll affect me at all.
Outside of the temple, you mean?
Yeah, like make that our next goal.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if we're splitting the party up.
Splitting the party!
Yeah.
I
Nobody
call-
freak out!
I call it
Remember?
multitasking.
Like Isaac said, stay calm.
So, are you thinking you and your brother to
Let's see if
Go and
maybe
look
all of
into
us
stuff?
could do it potentially. I mean,
Well, I'm
we
Well, it
might
doesn't
have
sound
someone
like
keep
it doesn't sound like
track of
Kara's
Sibble, or-
got any plans. I mean, unless
Kara and
she
Oak
would
are
rather
up
not.
for a jaunt about the town.
They're gonna step on a ball and do their circus act.
Yes.
I don't
Oak
think
looks
those
at
bear
me.
claws would do too well. With a
So-
ball.
Oak looks at
what
Kara
types of
with a quizzical look. What's with this
investigation
ruffle?
do you have in mind, then? Other than knowledge in the library?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's out there, but it's something we need answers to, don't
In
we?
the town or outside the town?
Probably wherever we have to go to get an answer. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what's the direction for the answer that we feel we need to try to get?
I mean, to start with. I mean, I guess we'd start within the town. We'd probably check the library and then
Okay.
branch off from there.
Find out where there might be other libraries, you're saying? Or knowledge?
Yeah, or if there's people that already know about it.
You know what might be a good place?
Okay. Yes, where would that be?
The legislative building. I wonder if they have stuff that proves that this has happened before and, something has happened in the court system or like restitution for damages.
And you
that's
would know the
something similar.
timeline for
Yes.
that also,
Mhm.
and the frequency.
Yes.
Or
Sounds
even
That's why I flipped my map over and checked.
that bigger.
That's
What?
that's Vlad, isn't it?
What's that?
The other
The guy who bit
guy,
Sibble.
yeah,
Max Holt.
Max.
Axel. So, like, maybe he has information or wrote stuff down, or
Well,
Max,
we
even
didn't.
lecture.
When we checked him quickly and then came back, he was gone. All we know, he was in the guild, and they came from the south many years ago, southwest-ish, from the
So
plains.
So you're saying he's still alive, is what you're saying?
We think he was dead, but when we came back to the temple, his body was missing.
Okay.
No
Yeah, 'cause I
body.
thought they took him out.
Yeah, but just because the body's gone doesn't mean he's alive.
Right.
But you know the
I
rule.
mean, a lot of warriors like to take their fallen comrades,
Mhm.
so that might be what happened.
Right. And it's even possible that the other people he was around in that town might have studied his condition or been aware of his condition.
Sure, but it'd be easy for Valed to open a portal and pop back in and grab him and go back, possibly. 'Cause
Right.
I couldn't finish him off because he
Mhm.
closed it up, and the orcs were coming out, and it was all closed.
Right.
That was a very tenuous situation.
And we can always check the undercrust of Kings Harbor and visit the slums and see if there's any word on the street of anything similar to this that has happened that has
laundromat.
gone
Yes.
unnoticed by the upper crust.
Are you saying there's a lower caste system in this town, you think?
People that live under the pizza.
All parts of the pie make the pie. Just saying.
Okay.
Cricket, cricket.
That makes sense. I like whipped topping on my pie.
Whatever you say.
And
Bake,
that's not
no
even
bake,
part
makes
of the
no
pie.
difference to me.
It is your pie.
But we've got to
I
investigate
try to scrape it
the
up
pie.
and eat it. Yeah.
The upper
Well,
crust,
it's
the
0
lower
calories.
crust, and the filling in the middle.
Yeah, it is.
And
Okay.
Isaac's just
Anyway.
overhearing all this going
Okay.
blink, blink.
So you're doing research then?
Yeah, so is that all of us, or?
Well, many hands make light work. If we look really quick in here to look for beastie stories and whatever while we're here in the library, and if not, then we'll go
Okay.
to the records
BC books, legislative building.
and then talk to people.
Now, when you say
Yeah.
records, what are you referring to?
BC
not a
books in the
phone call.
library.
Mm-hmm.
Then legislative building to see if they have any records of anything like this happening where like
Is there a building as
damages
such
needed to be
for
reimbursed
their
and stuff
daily
like
news
that, yeah.
where they keep all the archives of the history activities?
Are there even multiple
time.
libraries in Kings Harbor since it's big?
Okay.
Not the one with the kitty one is okay too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Most of any of that information would be within the temple, in the library.
Okay.
The only stuff legislative that would not be is like any current legislative stuff that is very current within like last year or two or maybe 5. Like it's
Well, that would fit our timeline.
like not like any like ancient or I say ancient but
Yeah,
like
that's pretty far
any
back.
records of like what the original city or
Yeah. We
village
just
or
want a couple
town
hundred
would have
years.
looked like.
Just a couple hundred. We're not going to
Yeah,
thousands.
some that
So-
stuff would be within the
Yeah.
temple.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine because
Okay.
then we know at least within a couple centuries if record of this happening has happened, or if it did happen at some time, we know it's further back.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Right.
can do the Dewey system and see how far back they keep records, and then we'll see if it's within that margin. And if it's not, then we know it's an older problem or a geographical problem because it's not in this area where that problem was kept up.
Mm-hmm.
We also want to look to see if there's gaps, because sometimes, just like in modern bookkeeping, sometimes people don't like to be caught doing something. We just dealt with that in a town before where somebody was taking someone's property. They were fudging the books. So we want to make sure whatever records it is, it's consistent. Or possibly someone didn't want someone to find something out. And we might be able to find gaps that way.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Or
Right.
find things that don't line up.
Right, and then possibly the person at that time, the record keeper, might have been responsible, and whatever, we can find the record keepers, then maybe we can find out what they had to do with it if they did such a thing.
Well, it could also be possible that, like, it's a seasonal or a chunk of time
Sure.
sort of thing, and then it's gone,
Right.
and then it occurs again.
Like every fall or something,
or
seasonal.
like 100 years, and then it's nothing.
Okay,
and
sort of like some locusts that come out every 7
right.
years.
Yeah, it could.
Okay,
We don't know.
Sure.
Or it could be like people learn about it,
yeah,
and then they forget and they go back to it, kind of like.
yeah,
Mhm.
and then it pops up again.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Almost
Okay.
Like
Some
the
sort of
Israelites.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, we know where we're going, right?
Yeah, once we look at the library here.
We have our plan of attack. That's
Okay.
what I just.
So I think we should look in disease.
Well, the
Because
Ds are
it's
over
something
here.
caught that was in the person and
Mhm.
it's not cured yet, but it
Mhm.
still affects them. So I
Yeah.
put that in the disease
You can
category.
even look at animals.
You
The
can look at,
phlebotomy
you guys do that if I have creature lore, and I'll look up areas that depict about creatures, because that's sort of what, so those stories that I read about that Vlad had and other people in their little libraries, and there might be some truths within some of those books.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That might be related to the transformation of people into creatures.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is this something Sybil's gonna help with? I mean, we're already in the temple, and I think. It's where
Or is
she
this too distraught for her?
I mean, if you guys are going to be doing research on this whole thing with
It's
her
related to
transforming
her,
and whatnot, it's related to her. So, I mean, this is something that her and Isaac to figure out what
would-
they're dealing with.
would like to
I mean,
join.
this is something that they would have been doing anyway, whether or not today or at some point in the
Well,
future.
we want to do
so-
it chronologically now. So that way
That's
we
fine.
knock it out and then do other things and move along.
Okay.
Because it's relevant to us about her.
All right. So Isaac then stands up and says, "If you guys will follow me, I'll take you to the library." Then.
So we're looking at animals, diseases, historical events, anything else?
No, the events would cover a lot of the external.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, you know, like what happened a couple days ago, things
Miscellaneous.
coming out of the sky that attacked everything, you know,
Yeah.
from portals. That would have been written down. So something of a plague of some sort of people beast should have been written down. Sure, that's an event. Those three categories.
All right. So you guys go to the library. As you guys walk into, or Isaac leads you to this set of double doors. And as you guys walk in, you see multiple layers of just balconies that are in a circular shape, with stairs that go up both sides, and this goes up 2 layers. So there's 2 sets, or there's 2 balconies. And you guys walk in, and it's just this massive circular room. There's a desk off to the side on the right. These stairs lead up to the first balcony, and then they come back like that, and then intersect in the middle with a bridge that then goes across to this second set of balconies at the top. But massive room, and you see all these shelves of just books that line the walls on the floor that you're on the second floor, and from what you can see for the third floor, there are also books.
Certain
Shelves.
categories and certain levels where it gravitates for pinpointing what topic you want to go to.
There are
It is a library.
labels on the different rows of shelves, because there are books that are the shelves that go around the outside, and then there are lines of shelves that go up.
Is this all alphabetical, or is it
No, but
topical and then alphabetical within the topical?
It is labeled off of topic, but it is in then alphabetical order based off of the topic that you're looking at.
Okay. So like the information that she was talking about would be the topic.
And the main category that's on the identifying sign, that the label that comes off of the, to mention like this is what the section that you're looking in, is based off of points in history. So there's parts of like not on the first floor, but in the first floor you have stuff that starts in, now I gotta pull out my thing so I actually give you the right dates. Are you raising your hand? Is that what you're...
No, I was like
No.
simulating you putting papers up.
No.
I'm sorry, the storyteller in me is still kicking into.
Do the
He
same.
actually has copies of the books we need to read, and we have to read them.
Big stud.
In Braille.
You guys,
Oh, man.
the
I
level
don't
that
have
you're
that
on,
my list.
all of the shelves,
Spanish
wherever you
Braille.
go into the rows, mention that this is the 4th age that you're looking at. 4th and current, which you guys are in the 5th age currently. So
This is about 3,500 years of information.
it would have been
Well, you have a full
from
age in half of
5th
an age.
age, which you have like a good like couple hundred years
That's it.
into the 5th age, and then you have the 4th age, which started at 7,500 AGC.
That deep.
Yes,
So that's like 8,000 years.
75 to 10,000 is the 4th age, and then the 5th age starts at 10,000.
Oh, okay. 7,000 was the last part of the
7,500 is the beginning of the 4th age.
Of the fourth.
No, it's the beginning of the 4th. The 4th is 75 to 10. 10.
So
or
it's
the 5th starts at
2,500 and then 5. Starts at 10.
1001.
5. starts at 10:01. Yeah.
Right, 2,000. That's
So then-
2,500.
So
And then a
the
couple
third
hundred
is
in this.
below
Yes.
7,500.
So it's close to 3,000 years.
It's
Yeah.
it's
A couple
20.
added
It's
to it.
2,500 for each age.
Correct. 25 plus a couple hundred of
Yeah.
this one already
Yes.
in.
Yeah.
So it's like 27, 2,800 years.
Yep. Worth of, and that's just this level. So that's the first level that you guys are on. So it depends
there's
on
a deeper
so
level
it
of
depends.
time on the others.
You don't know because you're not up at the second level or whatever. So if
don't
you
they have a record to tell you that it's deeper in, so that way you don't have to keep going up and down the floors? They have a record of
I
what.
don't have like.
well,
one of
this
those-
is you guys walking in and the first thing that you're seeing. So you haven't gone to the person at the desk. You haven't asked Isaac or anything. So this is just me telling
your
you
eyes
what you're
behold.
seeing. What
Okay.
when
Is
you
there like
first
a
walk in.
map, like in the mall, and you walk up to it
Time
and
the
you
map,
are
time
here?
the
and-
map.
There is at the center of the room, there is a big chart that
In case you get lost.
that gives you a general layout of what each floor is, and there's like the circular, and then circular, and then another circular for each
Okay.
level and whatnot.
Does it kind of
Like an
roughly
onion.
describe what's in there?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Are you guys gonna go up and look at it, or what?
Yeah,
What are you
can
doing? Are
see
you
the
gonna?
map? Do you have it written
I do
down?
not have it written
Okay.
down.
Does it show all the fire exits?
If you
Yeah,
get
one
lost,
exit.
I can delete it.
One exit,
Oh,
or you
man.
jump out the windows.
Raylog, go to the front desk, please.
Good thing Oak's not
So are you guys going up to the desk or going up to the sign,
Yeah,
or
it's a
what are you
good
doing?
place. Don't like it.
What's closer?
The desk is like right there to the right whenever you guys.
Then we go
walk
to the
in.
desk, and then
Yeah.
there's no hit or miss on
We
us
don't
just
want the
walking
desk.
around.
Might as well keep this because I may need this.
Hello, desk person.
Okay, so you
Person
guys walk
at
up
the
to the
desk.
desk,
Name tag.
and there is
No, I don't
a
understand.
elven woman with short
Oh.
brown hair,
The wood elf.
kind of stringy, but it like stops like right
Oh, a
here.
bob cut.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bowl? No.
bald cut.
And
That's
she
pretty good.
sees you guys approach and say, "Oh yes, what can I help you with?"
Answers. We're looking for answers.
Well, you've come to the right place. At least if
Depends
you
on the
like to
question.
read and find your answers.
Could you point them out then?
Depends on the answers that you're looking for.
That you have.
I may have them. I may not. No
Oh,
promises.
That's the stipulations we're not wanting to hear.
I am not all knowing. So
But it's at your fingertips, hopefully.
yes,
The tippy tip
somewhere in
of
this
my
room.
finger.
What are the answers to life?
That is not a question for me to answer, but for you to find yourself.
I'm not here to find myself. I see myself.
Are there
I'm
books
here.
that lead us to that answer?
Probably.
Okay.
Possibly, maybe, might be.
Do you have answers in the bestiary section that might talk about transforming people into animals from a disease point of view?
You like as you're like describing this whole thing, like your eyes are just like narrowing down of like because the way that you're describing it is that you want to know how to transform someone into a beast-like creature. It's just kind of like
Bippity
kind of giving you like that weird like okay. So you're looking for
Yes.
records
Like buying
on
a shovel, wheelbarrow at a
Yeah.
Walmart
different
or
types
something.
of beasts. Is that what
Continue.
you are
That's
looking for?
vague. Yes.
Bags.
Or
Not just beasts, but beasts that become what they are because of either a supernatural change or a chemical change that cause them to be from
okay.
humanoid
So beasts
to
that have
beast.
some kind of supernatural thing to them.
No. Beasts that are what they are because of something that happened to them. Not that they themselves have abilities.
Okay. Is this something that you're looking for, like ancient history, or are you looking
be.
for? Okay, so you're not sure.
it seems to be prevalent in nowadays, but it might not be of record because it's nowadays. So we need the older records of what's going on nowadays in the past.
Okay. Well, I will say there are different records about various different types of animals, beasts, beasts that have various different types of supernatural
No,
things to them, and
I'm
they
sorry. No. How about
and we have them in all different ages. In
yes,
which
yes? We're being as old but current as possible.
so this is something that existed in the past
It still is prevalent in the
Still
present.
and
occurs.
still exists, so it never left.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that people believe that it still exists. They may have forgotten about it, but yet still existed.
It might be lore.
But yet something that's tangible now.
So you're looking for information on a beast that existed in the past, but people think don't exist anymore, but they do.
That was transformed from a human into a beast.
So it's something that transforms from human to a beast.
Yes.
And
now
it
we're
is bigger than
Oh.
a red box.
Yes. And we could be particular because the beast that we're thinking about was of a wolf
Nature.
origin.
Her eyes kind of dart over to Isaac because, well, she kind of recognizes Isaac just because Isaac's been around the temple. He's been doing research, so he's been in here a few times.
Yeah.
She kind of gives him a side eye of like, are they talking about what I think they're talking about? Like, well, we do have some records of
Historical or nonfiction or fiction?
yes,
All the above.
yes,
I like that.
of type of creatures that or I don't even know whether to call them a creature, but
That's fine.
people that were able to turn into beast-like creatures. I don't know how else to explain it, but there are early records of them, but there's nothing really except there's nothing that
Well, since you
there's
say
no
early
records beyond the
incidents of what when
now
it
make
happened.
sure I give you the right date.
Is this a microfilm?
No. Those records of these creatures, they end almost right before the fourth age.
Fourth.
Yes.
So
the
they're
records
older than
of
fourth.
these,
Third.
yes, end kind of around the beginning of the fourth age. So,
But there are stories though afterwards, sort of like tales and stories.
Well,
and such.
again, this is not a specialty field of mine, so I don't know all the ins and outs of this, but I do know that we have information that goes back several ages about these type of things that you are describing of humans or elves or whatever turning into a beast, having a beast-like thing that they turn into.
Some sort of animal. Yes.
Yes.
That's fine. That's definitely we're starting out. So anything would be very how should I say valuable to us. So even if it seems like a dead end.
I guess what kind of
Well, the beast,
records are you looking for? Are
Well,
you
we're
looking for
looking-
just like historical records?
Well, we want to
of-
pinpoint a time
or-
frame, historical, and then also possibly from a chemistry point of view, or a supernatural point of view, which would be either from enchantments, or also from not herbalism, but I don't know why I just forgot it. Alchemy point of view, because it would be something that it was possible a cure for this type of transformation, so people wouldn't be under that type of curse anymore of disease. and maybe a cure for the transformation of people that were many, and maybe that's why there's less record or no record anymore. They might have had an antidote, and that's why we don't have record of it anymore, because they took care of it with an antidote.
Okay.
Or maybe they, just like some vermin in the natural realm of a town, some people hunt down something and kill it off. Maybe there's record of that. A purge, I guess we would call it. So record like that in any timeline would be helpful.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, the records kind of stop like relatively right before the fourth age. So anything before that, I think we have things as early as second age, maybe.
What floor is that?
Second age would be on the very top floor.
Okay, say the attic.
Yeah, the second age would be
cycle
the very
floor.
top
Yes.
In the
floor.
top. Okay.
Where the oxygen is.
Part of the second age also is on the second floor as well.
Okay.
Because the fourth age is kind of here along with the current age.
Because it's so recent on the
Yes,
timeline
yeah.
concept.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's what we're looking for. Records for now. What are there also creature lore areas that specialize in transforming humanoid into creatures, preferably turning into like a wolf or a lupus type of creature? Maybe even looking up wolf creatures or lupus. It matters your description of the wording to be anything in the category that has those words in it. In the
I
creature
don't
section.
recall any titles or anything that refer to that. Not to say that we don't have it. Again, we have a lot of books in this library.
Correct.
I don't know
Does it
all
matter
of them.
different ages that might have different creature lores in them? Like an older creature lore book in a third or second age compared to one in the fourth age. Different description books that were made in the different ages of creatures.
It would depend on what's been what we have been able to acquire, yes, and be able to store and be able to keep, and that it hasn't been, has been able to stand the test of time. As you can imagine, keeping these books
Do we have to
in
wear
a
special
good
gloves?
condition
Yes.
for thousands and thousands of years is not exactly an easy thing.
No, acidity is your worst enemy.
But I can imagine there would be some slight differences in them from age to age, just because of the difference in how people talk or write
Or
or
encounters.
different things that people may refer to at that time, different phrases and things that were popular at that time that aren't exactly
Okay.
popular now.
Social
So yeah,
discrepancies.
yep.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's some differences in that, but also there may have been some individuals that were more prone to investigate this type of thing on an alchemical level or from a medicinal standpoint versus other ages. It all depends. Like I said, I'm not too sure about this particular subject and what we have available, but I'm sure we have something on it.
Well, we want to at least get something, so that way we can see what this thing is.
Okay. Well,
So second age, top floor?
second age is top floor, and
floor.
part of it as the second floor as well.
Or is the
Part of it is also in the second floor.
in the second
Because
floor?
you have the first age and the second age up top,
Okay.
but then you have part of the second age on the second floor, and then you have the third age on the second floor.
So why do they put some of it on the second floor if it's so much on the fifth?
I don't see what
The
you're
second age is only on the 5th floor.
It's the first. There's 3 floors. There's the floor you're on, and the second floor, and the 3rd floor.
Oh, so there's no 5th floor?
No.
Oh, I thought there was 5 floors.
There's 1 and 2 on the top, and then part of 2 and 3 on the second floor.
Oh, you're doing sections.
Yes.
I'm doing full floors. Okay.
And then there's 4th on your current level, along with the current age, which is
First
only
you
several
step
several
on
hundred.
the numbers that are odd.
You just
Then
let
we
me
go on the other
know
side,
where
go
you want to
even.
go. You want to go to the second age.
Okay. Yeah, second age, just whatever.
How early in the second age do you want to go?
From the beginning of the second age.
Okay, so you're going to the top floor.
Because I don't want to miss anything.
So you're going to the top floor.
Okay. And I'm looking at creature lore and
Okay. So Isaac leads you guys up to
Yeah.
the top floor. And you guys find the section that is for the second age. And then you find what subjects are you looking for? Are you looking just at beast books, or are you looking
we're looking
for...
at the timeline of when beast things were encountered.
Okay. Okay.
Isn't that what we were looking for, a timeline?
We had events. We were looking at
Right.
animals in general, and then looking at diseases.
Okay, so instead of animals, they're beasts. Because they're a
Yeah.
step up. Animals would be,
Well, I
well,
don't know
people
how
gen-
to categorize.
yeah.
So,
It'd be a creature.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you have, as you're looking through, there are different types of, what kind of book would I describe this as? Specific books on specific types of like creatures, like woodland creatures or aquatic
Yeah, let's go
creatures
with
and
woodland.
things like that.
Yeah.
And then there's ones that are more specific, like the different types of bears, the different types of squirrels, like that kind of thing. And then there's your general, almost like encyclopedia-ish type of book, which catalogs just like a slew of animals from a certain part of Praxis. Those are the types of books that you see there for
Correct.
beast books.
Right. I'm going for creature, which is different than beast.
Okay. Going through to a creature section, again, it's very, very similar where you have, I'm trying to think of what would constitute as creatures.
Outside of the norm of,
Well, would like a prairie lizard be considered a creature?
No.
I didn't think so.
no, troll would be a creature.
Yeah. You would have again encyclopedia like
Dragons.
you would have specific books on like different types of dragons, the differences on like the ages of them,
I'll take a picture of
trolls and things like that. Roll a, this would be
Intelligence.
investigation, so intelligence.
Do I get
each-
help from someone?
Is anybody going to a different section?
While I'm doing this. I mean,
He's looking at creatures.
events isn't being looked at right now.
Yeah, we'd probably look at
Yeah,
events.
we can go to
Okay,
events.
investigation roll, which is
All right,
intelligence.
where's my yellow dice?
Okay.
There it is. Yellow.
So you guys are looking for historical events
All right.
that mention these type of things.
Let's see what that gives me.
Do I get to, does my non-weapon ability of history affect this at all?
Yeah, that helps. It
Yeah,
gives
I would.
timeline.
Yeah, I would say that gives you a. Well, I mean, you could. What does that? What is the attribute for that?
Intelligence?
So roll with a 2 advantage modifier.
Okay, so instead of a 14, I have 16. That I
Correct.
have to meet. Okay. All right.
Do I have a minus because of the type of difficulty to find the subject matter I'm looking for, or just whatever you can find?
Nope, just whatever. This is
Okay.
whatever you guys Like you pick up a book and you're like, oh, well,
If it
this might
pops
have
out.
something, and you're flipping through and oh, there's something. Maybe this
for
one.
spotting,
Yeah,
not
yep.
really divulging.
Yep.
Okay.
What did you roll, Raylog Dothra?
Rayla got a 2.
Ooh,
I
that's
got
better than
a
what I rolled.
natural
Yeet.
20.
All right, yeah, I rolled a 4.
So Rayla had a good. Dothra had a great.
Ooh.
Okay.
And I
great.
had a nope.
And my 4 becomes a flawless from the 17 that I normally
It's
have.
gonna be one of those days. Everybody gets a good rolling card.
Okay.
Nope.
For the historical events, you guys find actually right before, well, it would have been right after the turn of the Second Age, there was a battle that took place in the south. I'm trying to envision Praxis right now. And I
Need the map.
let me get the map here out so I can
There's
tell
different.
you correctly.
There's a whole flat area in the south.
Yes, down almost. Well, it's southern from where you guys are, but it would be like the southwestern part, like directly in the middle of
The Badlands.
directly in the middle of the continent. So around the Great Peak Mountains, there was a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a battle, but a
Conflict.
like a small localized
A skirmish.
conflict that took place. And this is after Praxis Dominices, the Conqueror, had taken over Praxis and named it after himself. So this is after Praxis got its name and after the Dominices dynasty was set up. There was a conflict that broke out near the Great Peak Mountains where there was a small, secluded, isolated group of folks that lived in the mountains that constantly were resisting being taken over or being conquered by the Dominices dynasty. And
What race were they?
What's that?
What race were they?
They were dwarves.
Okay.
But in these records there is mention of this community having what is described as special abilities that made them more resilient, and also they were known to take on beast-like forms, which made the conquering of this, even though small community and isolated, they were very difficult for the dynasty to keep them. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, to keep them under control, and to keep them from acting up. Basically, it came to a point at the end of the book, as you're flipping through, that they ended up wiping that whole entire village out just because they got tired of the rebellions that kept coming around because of them. And even though they were given multiple chances to just be docile and not cause trouble,
Be complicit.
they kept causing trouble. So that's the historical records that you find.
Causing trouble or being resilient against
Causing trouble.
They were causing trouble.
They did not want to be controlled.
That's what I meant. They didn't want to be complicit.
Yeah.
All the
comply.
resistance.
Yeah.
So technically, they were good
In a
because they were
sense.
fighting against
They were
a higher
resistant.
oppressor.
Yeah, they were fighting
Okay.
against the Dominices
So
dynasty.
So they were good guys. Okay.
The creature information that you find is actually from a encyclopedia-like book of various different types of
Britannica.
various different types of creatures
How much of a column does it?
found on Praxis at that time. And in the back,
Second Age?
yes, this is in the Second Age. In the back, you're used to reading books like this that everything is already has like a printed page to it, like a finalized printed page, and then when you get to the end of it, that's it. Like there's no extra pages in there or anything like that. It's just, this book was produced and whatever was there and produced within that book at that time is it. But in this particular book, there are pages in the back that are blank that, well, were blank at one time, where there is information written in there, and there are hand-drawn depictions of
love picture books.
Yeah, depictions of said creature that is being described in this account. What languages do you read, or do you know?
I think I just know Common and languages. Where are they? Treasure.
Should be in the middle of your.
Is it the middle? Oh yeah. Twirligan, Common, and Orc.
Okay, so you find an account and a hand-drawn depiction of something that looks very familiar to you.
Are what really.
But the what is written there, you are not able to read.
Right. Does it look similar to a type that I have run into before, but still haven't been able to read? Sort of like an elvish.
It does not look. It does not look elven.
Saldarian.
Nope. Not look elven in any way.
Queen.
Nope.
Beastly.
Nope.
Scratch.
Because I know there was.
Let me see what
Bygonian?
Sibble knows.
Yeah, because Saldarian is the other one I remember seeing.
Nope.
I know something.
Dwarvish.
Nope.
Like.
Nope.
Russian.
Nope.
Chop suey?
What languages does Dothra and Raylog know?
So Sibble doesn't even.
Raylock knows Vigonian and Common, and Dothra knows Common, Vigonian, Royal, Dwarven, Dusk Dwarven, and Deep Gnomish.
Gnomish.
Okay, so which one was that? That last one?
Deep Gnomish.
Deep Gnomish.
Okay. And that's for Dothra?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smarter.
So
But we're in different
Torvine,
sections.
yeah.
Yeah.
Torvine mentions
would've
that he
showed stuff.
has something, but he's not able to read it. You guys go over there, and Dothra takes a look at it, and she's able to pick out bits and pieces of it, but not all of it. It seems like this record is in some type of gnomish, but not deep gnome. The bits and pieces that she pulls out, first is the name, which is written in bigger letters at the top of the page, kind of next to the header, which is underlined, which comes out to be Brutum Morbis.
And that is spelled
Brutum. That's the first word, Brutum. And then Morbis, MOR.
is another word.
BUS.
Compounds.
In this account, she finds different mentions of
Yeah, morbid brute.
humanoid creatures, or humanoids that were able to turn into beast-like forms. Didn't matter if they were dwarven, elven, human. There was all different kinds. And while in this form, they were extremely difficult to kill, even outside of the but in their form, they were extremely, extremely difficult to kill. Um, and they lived for long, long periods of time. Um, and it seemed that they also had heightened senses as well. But that's what she pulls from it.
Okay.
And that's basically almost like reading in broken English, kind of.
Okay. Like talking to an Indian and knows
Yeah,
only so much.
yeah.
Okay. And these pictorial drawings.
There's actually several. There's one that looks kind of like a wolf standing on two legs. There's one that looks like a bear with more of a bear-like head to it and looks much larger than
Ursa.
the
Major.
Okay.
woven form. And there's also one that looks kind of cat-like with
Like
a yeah. Mm-hmm.
Raymond. Okay.
Ramundo.
And then they have a lobster guy.
He's on the episode of The Chick.
But that's what you find for the current section that you're in for
Lore.
creature, and then for the events that
Was there another category?
Name.
There's
granted,
two categories.
you guys can
There's-
ask.
Events, creature.
You guys did
There's
not.
one more category, wasn't there?
Whatever category that
Disease.
is, Isaac can
Yeah, disease.
look at. So you want Isaac to roll for?
Disease.
Yeah, disease.
But Sibble might be with him too.
Yeah, let's do Sibble. Get her involved in
Not
this a
so
little bit.
simple, Sibble. Go for it.
Okay.
Why
That is a natural 1.
She's a notable.
Car is gonna
Sybil
be-
gets a notable for intelligence on that. And
Oh.
Isaac rolled a natural 6. Okay.
They're good rolls.
Diseases. They find an account of which Sybil is not able to read, but Isaac is.
Mm-hmm.
An account from a halfling medical practitioner, I guess you could say, that was doing some studies on a oddity that was brought to him of a human that was able to turn into a bear beast-like form. And he did various different medical procedures and surgeries and things like that to try to figure out what in the world this was that was making him or giving him the ability to do this.
This is while they were alive. The bear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Is this second age?
Yes,
Okay.
second age. And they found that there was a gland in the mouth section that excreted some kind of enzyme or something that got into their saliva whenever they were in their beast form that made it so that anybody that they would bite ended up having a possibility of turning into something similar.
To be infected.
However, none of the being scratched or whatever from with claws and whatnot did not seem to have that effect. So it seemed like a victim had to be bitten in order to have this transformation. That was what he concluded at the end of his study. Along with mentioning just the heightened senses and things like that they had. Very resilient. The human was nothing special to speak about when when we talk about like a physique or anything like that. But at the same time, he was extremely strong and was able to, like, he had to take extra precautions to actually bind him to make sure that he wouldn't break out, and that he wouldn't, like when he was trying to do surgeries and things like that, to make sure that he wouldn't like get free or whatever during it. um, but that's basically the account of this medical practitioner during the Second Age.
Was there a name of the practitioner?
There is a name. Let me find.
Felix.
Isaac Senior. Fix-it, Felix. Where are you? Had to win.
Hadwin?
Yes.
Had to win.
Had to win. HADUIN.
Oh, well, that's just too bad. I was hoping win would be in there, but it's UN. Not WIN.
And he was doing this investigative procedures on people who were descended from that village that got wiped out. Or just
That is not mentioned. This is just something that he was asked to do to find out what
There was like
what is
outbreak
this? Like, why
or
is this guy
something.
able to turn into this
Oh, it was
beast-like
just
form
one
and whatnot?
person.
So he only came up
Did it
with
say where?
not why, but he came up with the transmission of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he didn't get any deeper than that.
No.
Okay. So this aids future people to understand how it can be spread,
Mm-hmm.
but not
The
really
Hadwin
what it
method.
is.
Mm.
Okay. So he failed.
And did he say where this occurred?
It does not mention in the record
Or where? he
where
found this
yeah.
specimen?
You only know that it's on Praxis.
Well, that narrows it down
Is there
about this much.
under the events? I know it talked about the dwarves over in the mountains. Is there any other events that talk about, not just because of that skirmishing battles of that group that held out? Were there other events, maybe more east, like in the plains, sort of like what we found out that Maxwell from the Assassins Guild came from in that region?
You're saying from historical events?
Yes, because they
Like,
existed.
based off of their rules, they did very well for ruling, and they did not find anything other than this one mention of this random village on the continent.
Considering a whole village had these people that had this ability, kind of makes you wonder what societies might have this, but yet not let on that they have it. If they could be a whole society and then hold out as a society, and the only reason why they were, because they were rooted out by a larger force. So it kind of makes you think there probably would be more or survivors, and since it's transmitted by, like Hodwin said, sporadically it could have been surviving throughout generations under the radar. And certain people that were affected just took on different job duties and weren't noticed. Maybe even became heroes or villains throughout the years. And the bloodline wasn't as large as a town, but bloodlines nonetheless that could be traced, but no one wrote it down because they were under the radar. And Sibble just happened to be a victim from an underlying bloodline that had a continuation from this disease, which Hadwin didn't know anything about families.
Mm-hmm.
He only knew infection.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know if this could be passed down bloodline to bloodline.
He did not, in the records that in this record of his research, there is no mention of that. There is only the mention of transmission through the enzymes.
So we don't know
and
if this disease can be transmitted to a loved one for making families.
Nope.
But if there were a whole society like that, you almost would come to the conclusion that it could be.
it's possible.
Because that's how a whole community could be. I don't think they all bit each other. Maybe you could still have children and they would still carry that in their system.
It's a possibility.
And if that's the case, do they have the same abilities passed down from genetics compared to being infected?
Meaning, like, if they're all wolves versus some were bears, some were wolves, some were.
From different creatures, right. Would it carry over if someone had the infection from a different animal, that they would become of that bit type, but not from a born type is always what they started from their parents? That's true. But could that actually happen?
But I guess, should we move on down to the third age?
Yeah, might as well, because that's closer to where we are. We'll go through every age. We started from the beginning, and we're seeing whatever, because there's not a lot, there's just time, but yet not records of it. And the distance far away is the center of Praxtos that it's
Okay.
talking about here.
So you guys are moving on to the
Third age.
the third age, or are you still going to look within the tail end of the second age at all?
Oh, well,
next-
We didn't cover it all?
No.
No, this was just the first
This
floor,
is on
or
the
the
floor.
top floor.
So we'll go to the next floor and finish off the second age.
Oh, so there's more stuff.
Yeah,
for the
that
second-
was where
okay. I thought
I
it was
wasn't
all up there.
understanding earlier
Yeah.
also.
Okay.
Yes. So we'll finish off the second age.
Yeah, well,
Look in the same category.
we're gonna go through all the information that we can
Okay.
since we're here.
Okay.
And then we'll burn it down.
Yep.
Okey-dokey.
Then we'll be the ones with the
No
knowledge.
further use of this building.
No. We've drained it of its value. Yeah, and I'd like to take those books out on my card.
Okay. So, what? Well, you guys found all the information that you were looking, like those specific subjects,
Yeah.
on the floor that you were on.
Right.
So, is there anything different, subject-wise,
Let's
that you're
stay on
looking
the
for?
same to see if it's consistent.
Okay.
What
Where
other
it stops.
subjects are there? Is there any like science ones that might, or would that include research on various topics, or would that kind of stick with
In
like,
this small section on the second floor, there is basically more of like political stuff on this floor. And then there is one section labeled the Great Revolt, which is just one section in and of itself because it was its own big thing during history.
Was it the revolt that was against Praxis?
Yes, that was the Great Revolt. Was when the people
Okay.
revolted against the Dominices
So-
dynasty.
That might be relevant because there was battles that were fought about the holdout. There might be other recollections of other people that stood out from the crowd during the battles.
right? It's still an event.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, there's that, and then there's like political stuff. So I don't know if anybody wants to look into anything political of like the politics at the time and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, have Sibble do that. She's big on that.
Okay.
She has heraldry and history and stuff like that.
Yep, we can do that. Okay, so who's looking at the Great Revolt?
Bygones oil.
Okay, investigation.
I feel like
then?
Kara.
Okay.
Real log faith. And the therapist, I think she got the same role. She got another great. Double check. Yeah, she got another great success.
We went to the second floor to do the rest of the second age. That's on that floor.
Okay.
And we're doing political in the Great Revolt category. Is it revolt? Or
Yeah, the Great Revolt.
The Great Revolt.
the Great Repulsive?
Who was roll? I'm sorry, you were.
Dothor passed. She got
Okay.
a great success.
Okay. La, 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 la. You find a book. Very, very fancy looking outside binding to it. Dark leather with gold trim around it, and gold swirls all over the place. And a big, bold name labeled on the
The binder.
the
Binder.
is that the binder? Is that what
The
it's called?
back part?
The back part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
And the name on there is Alduin. That's the book that you find. In reading this, what languages does the Vigond know?
Common, Vigonian, and then Dothor knows through variations of Dwarvish and then the Gnomish.
Okay, so you guys wouldn't be able to read this one. Are you guys there as a group, like looking, or
Yeah,
is
we're
it?
going to rotate together.
Okay.
Because we realize we're at a disadvantage.
Who knows
Language
High Elf?
barrier.
I know Sibble does, but I didn't know if
I do.
anybody else. Yeah. Okay. This is an account of a high elven wizard that did not live on Praxis, but was on a remote island that had some dealings with the Dominices dynasty, and this comes up. Yes, this is political. Or did you guys say that this was the Great Revolt?
Nope.
Because it's kind of ties with both of them.
Yeah, we can help that.
Okay. This high elven wizard had dealings with the Dominices dynasty, and he, at one point,
He was put out.
mentioned that it was asked to him if he wanted to have particular types of like orcs be bodyguards for him, but he said that he was happy with the current bodyguards that he had, and all of his bodyguards were human, dwarven, various different types of just regular humanoid, not creatures, but humanoids that, just generic people. But he said that he was happy with the current bodyguards that he had.
They're brutish.
Yes, and they he was able to control them, but his bodyguards were very known to be unruly and were very easily agitated, and on occasion had transformations. Various different types of transformations, from wolven to bear to like a panther-like even.
Kitty cat.
Yep. So, but there was a specific high elven wizard that had these as bodyguards.
Name?
Alduin.
ALDUYN.
Alduin.
Okay. YN.
Yeah.
And nothing says which island this is
No.
off of practice.
Nope.
Oh man, I don't get to add stuff to my map.
Nope.
Rats! I was looking forward to this. I'm a map person.
It doesn't say to the north land or to the
I
west.
It seems
feel
like
just-
the Dominicis dynasty was contacting him for basically like support and sponsorship for what they were assuming was coming, which was the revolt. It seemed like that was the reason of.
And they were reaching, but it doesn't say what direction they were reaching out to.
Yeah. No.
My brothers to the north, my brothers to the east.
No.
Patsy's
The
to the left.
record basically begins of
Okay.
mentions his name and then says was asked to come to, and then where they dynasty was based at the time to speak on.
Okay, so the information we're getting is Edwin was going to be hired by Praxis to continue his hold on the continent.
What did I give you for spelling for that again?
Alduyn.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a W before the Y. I'm sorry. There's supposed to be a W.
Edwin.
Out the win.
Out the window.
I'll do
The window.
I'll
the
do
window, the
anything
second
for you
window.
except
Okay.
that.
Have more help. And Elduin already noticed that some of his guards that transformed and everything were already from this, what we learned earlier from the Brutomorphs.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't like that.
The representative from the dynasty was looking to have his cooperation in what they assumed in the conflict that was to come.
Mhm.
And in agreement to help them, he asked if he would like to have some sort of orcish bodyguard or something like that to help, like more,
Right.
like a more beefy
More robust.
bodyguard, because the bodyguards that he had at the time were just seemed like, you know,
Wet
generic
noodles.
cutthroats or whatever.
Sure.
Um,
Cannon fodder.
but he said that he was quite happy with his current
Okay.
bodyguards and whatnot. And then the records also mention about run-ins with some of his bodyguards, about them being agitated easily, like if they were playing like some kind of card game or whatever and they lost, and then
Okay.
losing their tempers. And
Okay. So the chaotic bodyguards.
but
That this high elf
Alduin
had.
always had some sense of presence with them because they always listened to him.
Well,
So he was able to
to.
control them in some way.
Okay, but these are the same bodyguards that had the Brutomorphs.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so these are
His
still
bodyguards, even
his-
though they were unruly and, you know,
Right.
prone to being agitated and
Okay, they still had allegiance to him.
loose cannons. Yeah.
Right.
They
Like a parent would be able to stop the kids, but a subordinate wouldn't. They wouldn't listen to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So he had control over them.
Yep. Okay, that's the second age. So what do you guys want to? Anything else you want to look into
Oh,
before you
that-
go on to the third?
Well, that. Okay, so that was political.
Correct.
Okay. We're still looking into the actual
Revolt.
the revolt.
Okay. In the Great Revolt, who wants to roll for this one for an investigation?
Maybe all of us.
Yeah, we can all do it.
Go for
There's
it.
name.
Go
Greylock
for
and
it.
That's a major.
Okay.
Not flawless, but it's a
A
major.
4 out of 16.
Ooh, 4 out of 16. That's a flawless.
We made it.
Greylog had a
See, roll does
good,
count now.
and Dother had a major.
Okay, we can all read column and give us a count.
All right. The Great Revolt.
I need to learn another language.
You guys find an account of, again, some of different battles, and there's two particular books. that mention two different battles on the southern part of Praxis of the dynasty, or there being a revolt against the dynasty, and the warriors of the revolt having some sort of beast-like abilities and transformations. You also find different accounts of the opposite, where the dynasty is taking over or trying to push back a revolt of a certain part of Praxis. And some of their combatants are described to have also beast-like transformations.
Are they all described as the same type of
Nope,
transformation?
different types. Wolven, bear, feline.
Okay, but I know there's different types of beast transformations, but it's all the same type of Brutomorbis
Yes.
descriptions.
Yes.
Nothing different.
Nope.
It's pretty consistent.
Yep.
Okay, and this is down south. Does it say where south?
There's one that is on the far southwestern, not where the what is it, the fiery dragon and whatnot is. Not quite that far, just above that.
Like the
There's
White
like a little
Plains?
In the
outcropping.
Badlands?
No, the other way, southwestern.
He means extreme west.
More west than
So
south.
like over here.
You mean the wastelands?
Over here?
More westerly. Okay.
Over here,
Yes.
the West Plains.
Yes, all the way over there.
That's
But
pretty
on the
far away.
south side,
All the way over.
southwest of the
The
West
west.
Plains.
And then the
Plains
other is in the
Peninsula.
Windy Plains, is the other account, and that's for the revolt. Now the accounts that you have of the dynasty using them are basically close to the tip, not pointing towards Aquarius, but
Northwest.
one of the tips of the Dragonwood Forest, and then also in the Grey Mist Forest as well. And basically, these accounts are battles going or seeming to have no real clear winner. Like it just seems like it's at a stalemate, and then all of a sudden they go out for another skirmish, and suddenly it seems like the enemy forces, where one side was bolstered by having some sort of help from people that were able to turn into these type of creatures, which helped them to turn the tide in their favor.
Okay. All right, but they're all
Do
still.
we see that on both sides?
But so they all took advantages of those who could turn into this Brutomorbis, but different types of beasts within the disease.
Correct. There was no particular type that was used by either side.
They
Not
all
to
seem
say
have
that-
intermingled
yeah.
with different.
Yeah.
Okay, right. You guys weren't all the bears. You were all the tigers.
Nope.
No
Kitty
bears.
cats. You know, the beavers. Where do they come from? Yeah. Okay.
But seemingly the ones that were part of the
No
revolt
fouls.
were people that were under their own free will wanting to revolt against the domination of the dynasty, and the dynasty seemingly got some help from somewhere of some people that were able to do the same thing, but were fighting for the dynasty instead.
So theirs almost seemed like a systematic making of troops to have them.
It's a
and the other one
possibility.
was more natural in their environment.
Possibility.
Yeah. Uh,
Curiouser and curiouser.
That is the second age.
So this goes back a ways.
okay.
Yes, that is all the way back
that's
to
the top part of the second.
yes,
That would be technically under events. Do we find any more stuff on creature lore? Since there were battles and stuff going on at that time, maybe at that time they start listing weaknesses, strengths, particularly.
There is different mentions of
agitation.
because basically
obviously,
these
one.
accounts are just the battle notes from
Right.
different commanders
Right.
sending in notes to either
Right.
their higher ups, and this is a compilation of it.
Now, observing people would have started writing things about it.
Yeah.
Once it's
So there is mention of fire being used and to stop them from healing. There is also mention of beheading them as well. There's mention of acid being used and working. Let's see what else. There was also mention of because these battles went on for, or the Great Revolt didn't, it lasted for a good 100 years.
Yeah.
So at times where the turn of the month where there would be full moons, it seemed like they were especially strong for some reason, whether it's a connection to the moon or what, but these individuals that are able to turn into these beast-like creatures seem to have a connection with it in some way on full moons.
Did they mention anything about, because they realized they were hardy, did they notice any melee way that they were less hardy during a melee?
There is mention of silver being used. So if they didn't have elemental damage or things like that, they did find that silver or silver-tipped weapons were especially effective against these.
Okay. Were there representatives of the Creator that fought against these?
Not specialized that is mentioned in any of these accounts.
How about, since there were wizards involved, were there descriptions of how the wizards would deal with it if they had empowered weapons and stuff that fought against them?
In the revolt, there is mention of different types of mind tricks being used, anything to really mess around with the mind, really just attacks that involved fire or acid in some way.
So they wouldn't mention about arming troops with certain empowered melee weapons to be effective against creatures.
But then again, this is, at that time, you don't know how new this information was, so you don't know how much experimentation they had with this kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
To see
It's
what
only
worked and
100
what,
years.
they.
Okay. All right. Well, that's more than what we had. So I guess that's good for the last of the second age.
Yes.
I guess we jump into the third age.
Okay. Third age. What are you guys looking for?
Is there a first age at all that we could?
Yes, that is on the top.
We were on the top floor already.
Top floor.
It didn't start until the second age.
She said that records of anything like that wouldn't have started probably until the second age.
Okay.
But if you want to imagine it and will it, it might happen. Don't know until you try. But we're going third age.
Okay.
Which is on
third age. There is various different types of topics, and there is also one section again that is separate from everything else that is similar to the Great Revolt, but the name is the Great War.
Okay, we're looking
for whatever you guys want to
pop out events during the Great War that would deal with such matters.
Okay. Are you guys looking at like beast or creature or anything like that as well?
Yes.
Okay. So who's looking at the creature stuff?
Me.
Who's looking at
Oh, you'll look at it.
historical events? And who wants to
History.
look at the Great War?
Raylog and
Oops,
Dothra,
that's
you get
not
the
two,
war.
it's
We'll
three.
probably look at the history and then we'll switch over to the war after we're done with
Okay.
history.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got creature thing going here. And it's a 3 out of 17.
10 out of 16.
Nice. They both failed.
That's a great success to her, 10 out of 16.
One of us has got to win. This is why we're in a group, isn't
Yes,
it?
we got to be in a group because some are written out in different obscure languages that not all of us know.
Mm-hmm.
At least Dothra had a certain amount of gnomish information, but not the exact.
Okay. Creature stuff. What did you get?
The 3, which is a flawless for 17.
Okay. You basically find another encyclopedia-like book, except instead of this one having a written-in account at the end, there's an actual typed up and whatnot, and it is in common.
Goody.
Yes, because now we, have progressed to let's write things in a language where everybody can read.
Common trade language.
I'm the writer, so I'm writing it in my own language.
Only
Because I
privileged
like
will find
it.
But no, like whoever wrote that little snippet in that other book might have been the only language they know.
They might not have been
Um,
other places.
Again, you get the same information about the name of them. They like to hunt at night. They have a connection to the full moon. Being very, very resilient. They come in various different types of forms. There are other forms that are in this one besides the
Mammalian?
The cat, bear, and wolf.
The cat, bear, and wolf.
Right now, that's what I
There's
say fast.
avian forms.
I told you it was a beaver.
Got any griffins?
Let me pull this up.
Said I got any grapes? Got any griffins?
What's a griffin?
Walked up to the lemonade stand. He said, "Got any griffins?"
Oh, you got a license for that? Lemonade stand?
You got a license for that?
Someone's got
Where are you?
You have to pay the king's tax.
There is also a picture of
pictures.
rat-like form
Aw,
as
man.
well.
Not avian.
That's a politician.
There are
Is it
two
missing any
feline
toes?
forms in this one as well. There's one that is more slender looking, and then there's one that is more beefier looking.
Someone's got to go on a diet.
And those are there is
Cat.
two added forms to it, because before it was just like a cat-like feline one. There was no differentiating, but this one has a beefier one and a slender one, and then there's the rat-like form as well. Mentions about the various differences between them, some of them being a little bit stronger and having more strength. At least that's the way it seemed. Some of them all of them had heightened senses. The different types of settings that they prefer, or that they were generally found in, things like that. Basically, same information as the previous one, only now it's in common.
So they don't have anything further to expound on?
Not really.
Okay, so there's nothing about...
No, it's not a specialized thing. It's just like, don't go out at night, or they like to hunt at night. These are the things.
Okay, but they don't talk sort of like, because before there was a whole village of them.
Yeah, but that was a historical account.
Correct. And this
is the creature stuff.
Right, but the creature stuff would talk about the way it survives in the woods. Wouldn't just be hunting, but also be, do they travel in packs? Do they live in small
There are
communities?
There's mention in this account that
Do they have puppies? It's got to do with.
in this account it does mention that
Nobody's
they
been
lay
they
eggs?
they are found in packs sometimes and sometimes on their own.
So this is observed from a distance. It's not like they try to figure out the locals of the ins and outs of how they tick.
Yeah.
Because they were afraid.
This is from basically accounts that they were given from various different people that have encountered them. Like,
this isn't a study. This is a recollection.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Again,
Okay.
like an encyclopedia
Right.
type deal.
I was raised by Bigfoot, and this is my story. It isn't like that.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right.
Is that the next one?
Historical accounts.
So we have to roll for that.
Yeah.
I thought we just did.
No, you already rolled yours.
Yeah.
Because we roll for events.
Yeah, just-
or
just
Historical
yours.
events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what you guys are.
That's
Rolling.
what I rolled.
Yeah, she
Or
rolled.
okay.
And she got her 10
I
out
got my
of,
10 out of 16.
yeah, which
Okay.
is a great.
So with these historical events, does it do when the beasts are involved in a battle? Is it always a certain time of day?
You don't see any patterns like that. It doesn't seem like they're doing it like at dusk or anything like that.
So it's not always at night when
Nope.
the battle. So like
Nope.
it's during the day and the beast will. Okay.
So they you don't have an officer's log saying that at 1200 went out to do their attack, and then at 1400 they rebutted with another attack, but they had the beasties with them and whatever. Right.
Was there anything in relation to the moon?
There was mention in the ones in the Second Age that during full moons that they seemed to be more
Aware and heightened.
Yeah, it just seemed like
Yeah.
they
Hidden shadows.
were stronger in a way. For some, they were
Yeah.
more lethal.
Okay.
And it was just noted that during full moons, they had some kind of connection with it.
Okay.
What it is,
The
they don't
lunar
know,
cycle.
but they just know that
Mhm.
when there was a full moon, that they didn't mess around. Like they were out.
They were on their game.
Yeah, they were on their game.
All right. That's all right. We can dissect Sibble. We'll find it.
No. Hold
What?
still.
We got what? We got one.
You might feel
I heard my
suspicious.
name.
I know this is distressing you, but you'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right,
We'll
historical
do it,
events. You guys
Stress
find
Is that her?
Poke.
mention
Poke. Not poking
of going through. You find a mention of. Trying to think of what this would be titled.
me. Great things by great people. Thus,
Written by
Mr. Humble Pie. Humming, what?
Well, just look at your notes.
No, I did not write this in my notes. Like I have an idea of what the title would be. I'll come up with a title for it later. It
So it's cool,
basically speaks of a hunt that was put on in the northern region of the Praxis in
Great Mist Forest?
At the west area where the Dragon Forest is?
The Wandering Spine. The Dragonwood Forest.
in
Center
the
Great Mountains. The Living Tree
Silverback Forest and the Dragonwood Forest for these creatures to basically exterminate them. This was led by a particular family, the Mendoza family. What are you laughing at?
They found a turkey
Just
and
sounds
a
like
hammock
a drug lord.
and
The
a.
Mendoza
Mendozas.
family.
Does he have a bronze bucket-like helmet that has little things sticking up the whole way down the back? Does he roll his R's? No.
Mendoza family.
The Mendoza family will come for your beastie.
Okay, so
Don't look
this
surprised, you're
family
married
was
today.
leading a hunt for these particular types of beasts to basically exterminate them from that portion of Praxis. Um, mentions various different types of individuals that were involved in this, different types of weaponry, which accounts for fire, acid, silver-tipped stuff. Never going out on a hunt on a full moon, different things like that. Basically, anytime that somebody was bit, that they sent them immediately to a temple to be dealt with. There was no specifics on how they were dealt with,
Why?
but they knew that they couldn't keep them there because there was a possibility, like even if you didn't show any symptoms and they mentioned symptoms
Precaution.
of different things that they would look for, which was like sweating and things like that.
Nobody's allowed to work in this realm.
They didn't even wait to see if there was any symptoms or whatever. If you were bit, you're going to a temple and there's no questions asked.
It's just sweaty palm syndrome.
So
Always nervous.
there's an account of this hunt that took place in this particular part of Praxis.
So they were purging the area
Yes.
of these beasties.
Yep.
And this is in the Third Age,
Yes.
which is after the big battle.
This is. Let me get my. This would have been after. This would have been after the Great War. This would have been like 6500 AGC. Okay, so that is
What I find.
historical events.
Okay.
What other categories are there?
Disease.
There was the disease part
Mm-hmm.
that you guys looked at on the second second age.
Mhm.
Would you like to look at diseases?
Sure.
Yeah, let's look again. Let's all look.
Diseases.
Not something you thought you'd be asked today,
5.
but you are. So
No, 5 is a flawless for me. 17. It's
The
at the
author
top.
got a natural one.
Okay.
from daisies
Um,
to diseases, it's Dothra.
throw
coming
that
to
in
mind.
there's no documentation of any new
I officially found nothing.
there's no new documentation
It's
of
the same
this
yada
disease.
yada.
Actually, there's no mention
No
of
mention.
anything like this.
Oh, there's a
Nothing.
loophole, people.
Yep.
Something's missing.
Nothing's there.
Because this seems to be,
The practitioner was in on it.
they were starting to come to grips with this diseased people, and you see them starting to hunt, but there's no follow-up to it.
In the historical accounts, did it seem like people were being racist almost to these people, or like they were outcasts or anything?
The pariah.
Well, purging the area of them sounds pretty much.
Right, but like even before they went to that extent, like did they treat them very mean?
In the towns when they were
Yeah.
hanging around?
Did they treat them like the Jews?
If they found
treated
out,
the
I would think
It
they'd be
seemed
afraid of it.
any accounts that you would have read of something that
Or did they treat them like
stranger came into town and this happened or whatever, and he transformed into they're
On your
definitely
babysitting list.
any accounts like that, people kind of avoided it like the plague. Didn't really want anything to do with it.
So it was more like healthy versus lepers instead of, like, for
You're one of
example,
those.
Jewish versus Samaritans. Does that make sense?
In a way.
So it wasn't like a.
Well, one is
Practice,
unholy bloodline because you're a
That's what
mongrel.
I'm saying.
And-
Yeah.
But
I was
another
like,
one
is it a
is
health
fear for your life
treated
because
that
these
way
things
because of
are
a health
dangerous for all
concern,
society.
yeah. A true health concern or a like we have these things that we just hold against you.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing to have a child that is of a different bloodline because of the mom and dad were from a different culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to know your child has a disease that could kill you in the middle of
And
the night.
that's what I was trying to establish.
And plague the rest of the town. So I don't really see that as like a discrimination. I see that as a protection.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was trying to
Yes.
figure out. Is it like a fear
Yeah, I would think
of
it's
a disease
fear-based.
they didn't understand,
Definitely.
or
Because they did understand death. And to protect your child, and even if you made stories to protect them from leaving the house and going out in the woods, but to know something was in your town that actually produced the same thing you're trying to keep them from going out in the woods of, you wouldn't want it in the town. So you would purge it. And so I would think that's why the purging of Mendoza in the northern areas was doing that, to keep his region safe from these internal fearful things that are the townspeople are probably pretty paranoid. You could be one. You could be one. But once you get it all done, that paranoia is gone.
Yeah. And I understand that. I was just saying, like, does the record show?
And that's where he was saying
versus this. That's what I was saying.
the record talking about.
Like, does the writer seem to be tilted this way or that way? That's what I was.
There's no record
establish.
of any more description of how they dealt with the disease or studied it in the Third Age.
Mm-hmm.
It is gone. But yet they fought it, and they would have had more time to describe it in full depth. But here, it's a blank slate.
Did it appear like any? Did it appear like there were records there, but somehow it's gone? It like
Removal of certain books. It
Yeah.
looked
So
like
you're
was
saying
leading
like
up to
it did
like
you
it
open any
existed, but
books and
now
there's
it's
like
not
stuff
there?
ripped out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Or even
blotted out,
sliced
or
off nicely to make it look like they didn't rip it. It wasn't even in the binder. A skip of pages that disappeared. Some
Nope. You don't see any books that didn't seem to have anything like
been
ripped out of
altered.
them or altered or anything.
There just isn't written volumes on it at all.
I guess we'll check the Great War
Okay.
section.
All right, so-
Rayla got a natural,
oh, we don't do anything. Smart guy.
and Dothrak lost all the books. Can't find them.
All right. I got a great success.
In this, you find multiple accounts of a multitude of battles that took place during the Great War, where followers of the Deceiver had armies, and I shouldn't say armies, large groups of these type of individuals at their disposal that they would throw into battle.
Shock troops.
It just seemed like there was, for a time, every battle had something involved that was
Enhanced.
enhanced in some way.
They were enhanced as being brutish.
Brutish. There's even ones on there that don't even sound familiar to you.
Well, that's fine. What's it sound like? That's why we're here.
Like big, massive, muscular brutes that
Larger than man size.
yes, larger
Okay.
than man size, standing like 15 foot tall.
Giants.
That, but like giants are known about at that time. They're not new,
Right.
but these are things that were meddled with in ways that they probably shouldn't have been meddled with. Experiments were done, or I guess in a way, abominations that were used in war
Okay.
by the side of those following the deceiver to gain an advantage in the war. Things that are only described as just being abominations. Even.
Were they humanoid?
Humanoid sometimes? Some of them, like, they didn't even walk on 2 feet. They would walk on 4s and almost like crawl. Just all kinds of just grotesque.
Okay, humanoids or beasts.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then there's mention of battles that had beast-like humans or humanoids that were able to turn into beast-like things. But those were very, very common, it seems like, for these battles. Like, it almost seems like they were like, what do you want to call it? The infantry.
It was a fad.
Yeah, it was like the infantry, like they were just being bred, it seemed. You know,
on
just,
both sides or just the deceiver?
just the deceiver's side.
I hope so. Okay, so things
there
are even
any
different than what we're looking at.
ginormous abominations that were like beastmen that transformed?
Some of them did have like beast-like traits.
But would they transform between
No, these were things that it would.
That's the abomination.
Yeah, like you would just show up at the battlefield, and the next thing you know, there's just this lumbering thing coming at you.
It didn't transform. It
No,
was
it was just there.
Okay.
It was pre whatever it was.
Yeah.
Didn't have to add water. It was already.
Mhm.
All right. Is that all we get out of?
Yeah, for the Great War, that's it.
What other sections are there? Are there any?
Which is odd, because if they were so common,
Mm-hmm.
why is there not more accounts to
Yeah,
it?
because now we have still a hole right here. There's no record of description.
Is there like a sciences section?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been with the creatures or with the diseases
Mm-hmm.
that you
Okay.
guys checked.
And they're all over the place in wartime. There still would have been something written up.
And the diseases, there was nothing in
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
And for the creatures, there was like that encyclopedia mention of the different types of forms that were taken.
Right.
And then,
The rats, cats.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, even Haldwin, back in the Second Age, he's just a doctor, physician guy writing about it.
Or,
And,
Hadwin.
Yeah, and Hadwin was a while ago, and we've had all this interaction, all this usage, and then to have not even one person like him even write about, fixing someone that was hurt, that was under this, or whatever, from the Great Wars and stuff like that, but it's all gone. It would have been recollection of other doctors writing like what he did in the future while it's so prevalent, but there's nothing written. So there's a gap, there's a hole there.
Mhm.
So either, like what you were saying, someone removed something, or it just wasn't allowed to write about,
Mhm.
or for the purpose of then and now, so that way maybe someone didn't get the edge on the other person when they were doing these battles, or maybe for a future. So you can't do what we're doing and evaluate what the past did to see how we can deal with something in the future, possibly. But there is there's just a dead spot right here. Consistency and then dead spot. And then saying there's still a lot of this going on, but yet there's no record of any dealings with fixing and how it worked. So somewhere along the line, something said no. So we can thank him for that. Sarcasm.
That's what you guys find for the Third Age.
Should we check like anything political?
I can tell you now, there's not going to be anything in
Okay.
political.
Well, we got more than what we didn't have.
I mean, that answers a lot of what you guys were looking for, of kind of like, what is it?
Yeah.
Do we need to worry about Dothra and whether or not she's infected?
Only because she was bitten. She wasn't bitten
No, she was just
like
scratched.
Sibble was.
Right.
So glands.
Doesn't really answer like anything for Sibble on
No.
how to
Stopping
get
it.
rid of it or anything,
Yeah.
but
But we know what agitates her, and we do know that possibly when she transformed when we were on the road, the sky might have caused something to make her boil over to do this, because nighttime seems to be an enhancer of some sort of whatever's in her, because that's what they wrote in here: don't mess around with these people when it's moonlight. So it might have caused her to be irritated or enhance her to turn in for the first time on us.
And a word of note for that, whenever it was mentioned about don't mess with these guys at night, a lot of times these individuals would also be used as night watch because of their heightened senses and their ability to.
So they would know you're coming.
Yeah, they were
a quarter
very,
mile
very.
away.
Yeah, they would be very. They were very good at being your guy on the lookout or your sentries at nighttime.
So, Sibble seems to be turning into one of these hybrids of whatever this maid disease is that the wizards of past have made, like Elduin back in the Second Age.
Yeah, and you don't know if Alduin made them or what the deal is.
Well,
We still don't have an origin of where these things came
No,
from.
but they were his bodyguards, and he created things. So not just orcs, but apparently he was happy with the type of protectors that he had, and they turned into these beast things. Yeah, it doesn't say that he caused them to do the change. He just had utilized them also along with his bodyguards. So, because we don't have notes about if he's tried to enhance them from what they already were. We already know later on there's abominations. And that's turning something that's already bad, badder. So, and they will die out as long as there's no one enhancing them, as far as we know. Because we don't know if the first thing can be passed down through generations, has to be a bite or a pass down. Same thing with these, we don't know. So that's what we have, but we do know silver, for whatever reason, is more effective when fighting these, so they're not as defense against it. Beheading is and we did that to Maxhold. So even though the body's gone, we know we killed him. Fire, acid, that does natural damage to them. They don't seem to have a negation to that. And that's all we have.
Okay.
So I guess we're done looking at books here then.
All right.
What about the fourth age? Or do you just mean that done looking at the third age? There's still the fourth age and the fifth
there's
age.
the fourth age. Is it going to be the same old, same old?
For expediency, I will say when you guys look at the fourth age and fifth age, you do not find any records of these things mentioned in encyclopedias.
Okay.
The only mention, I will say this: in the fourth age, there is an encyclopedia
Beast.
of beasts of the past that basically talk about things that existed in the past and whatnot, and these are mentioned in there. These Brutum
So they speak of it
Morbis.
in past tense.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's the only records that you guys find.
And there's no more battles and all
Nope.
stuff.
Nothing.
Okay. Third age was the last
It
time.
just
they
seems like they seemingly disappeared from existence.
And the most of the activity that we run into is central and west and south.
Yep.
Of the continent.
Yep.
Okay. So this area's been pretty docile in those categories until you went further west from where we are now. Then it was encountered more often. And that's probably why there's possibly less.
Where we are.
Right. Because it hasn't been encountered.
Over here, where we're all more civilized on the east.
So if we wanted more written record, we would have to probably go west. if that's what we plan on doing. Because we're on the east side of the county.
At this point, it is getting later in the day. It is getting to the point because you guys got there about midday, so it is now reaching like 5, 6 o'clock. Of you guys going through, browsing through many books, reading through various different accounts, going on to different sections of the library. So I'm going to say it's like 6 o'clock at this point.
Yeah.
You guys really haven't made any arrangements for sleeping yet, since you basically came right to the temple as soon as you got here, and you haven't really eaten anything either. So
I could share a berry with people if you want.
I'm guessing you guys probably would have did that while, because you didn't.
Yeah.
You ate breakfast and then you kind of
Yep.
met Isaac at
Buzzed
like
through.
11:30.
Well,
And then
fasting is a thing. It's healthy.
just went right
What'll
into
it
bookwork.
be? The sandwich
Fasting is
buffet,
healthy.
the hungering depths, or the hungering moon?
You know, the hungry hippo.
Your mother.
Because I wrote it down last time we were there. Okay, let's see what's close.
I just eat it all.
We're
You
at
could always eat at the lodge.
we're at the temple. The lodge is close. Yeah, the lodge is the closest spot.
All right, we'll just. All right, so we'll call Dave. We'll tell the librarian. What was her name again?
Oh, yeah, you guys did not ask, or you did not get her
How
name.
rude of
The
us.
librarian with the fingers.
The one with the short
Nafina.
hair. How is that spelled?
And Mr. Church loves it when I give names, because he's just like, I'm waiting for like Lydia. Oh, I know how to spell that. And then it's like,
Never mind.
Or you could always take one of those names and spell it.
yeah, well, that's
It's called.
what I did with
Spelling
Alduin.
it backwards.
Because Alduin is
It
from
felt
the dragon from the bad dragon from Skyrim, but it's spelled differently. So I'm just like, oh, let's just add a few things here, make it sound make it look elvish.
What's the desk lady's name?
Nafina.
Spell.
N-E.
Oh, I gotta eat rice already.
T-H?
P-H. Oh, yeah. I.
N-A.
Correct. And then there's one more letter.
H.
No.
E.
Yep.
To make it more.
N-E-P-H-I-N-A-E. Nafina.
These are the things you can't see on the video.
Yep. Need more cameras. Just
There.
get the player
Gotta
reactions.
put a selfie stick on there
She
for
is
everybody.
a half elf.
She is elven.
She's full
A
elf.
elven woman. Frizzy, brown hair.
I thought
down
it
to-
was stringy brown hair.
frizzy, stringy, however, the
Ringlet?
wavy look.
Ringlet?
We'll see a picture later.
Combs. Like,
Yeah.
I am not
Yeah.
the person to describe hairstyles on women.
I'm terrible, it seems, at describing.
Picture is on the screen now.
Mm-hmm.
For all those watching.
Cara had to add
she's
some
a
help
looker.
here.
All right, so you guys are going to the lodge.
Bye, Nephilim.
You guys get out as you guys are on your way to the lodge. You exit the temple,
She could
and
take
you get to leaving the courtyard. Which of you guys has the highest awareness?
I don't know. Let's all check our numbers.
Should we tell you based on
I'm already dodging foreign objects.
If we're looking at talents, I have a 45.
Sibble has. Well, actually, Sibble is staying at the temple, so she is not.
I have a 65.
Okay. I have a 45.
Dragons have 70.
17.
70.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, we
So one of you guys.
So they
roll.
do know what's going on.
Can we help them?
Maybe that's why they're so quiet. They know more about what's going on than we.
Yeah. And I'm not getting on your shoulders ever again.
92.
You
Okay.
are kidding me. Wow.
You notice nothing then.
Can we reverse it?
We know nothing.
Yep. All right, so you guys go to the lodge. That is a silver piece per meal, and
I would have had
a
19.
5 silver pieces for the night if you wish to stay in the lodge for a night. So
Since
that
I'm
is
not hiding in the stable anymore.
6 total. And I will be right back.
Okay, that's 6 silver pieces, you said. Okay, while we're here, guys, I would like to see about some of the extra odds and ends of finances that we acquired from the people that we conquered.
That mean we rule over them now?
Well, we conquered them and they no longer
We
exist.
take their
The bygones take of it. We conquer them, we take their money, we go.
Okay,
We let
from
them
the
live their
Crimson
lives
Blade
with less
people.
money. That is what we do.
we decrease inflation.
We tell them that we are doing this for them, but then we take.
I'm also giving you some of the platinum pieces that we got from that wood cherry box that we got way back with Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us, so it's 10 platinum pieces a piece. So it's 10, and then 90, 6. Let me get the old calculator out here.
Every time I revisit how much treasure I have, I look back and I'm like, man, I need to stop acting like I'm broke.
Yeah, that's you guys need to go shopping and see if there's some blessed items that tickle your fancy.
But then also I'm like, but I don't want anything.
Well, that's called hoarding. Yep, you were back.
Howdy do.
Back before.
Oh, hiya. I know, right? There's a pot of coffee in the kitchen if you want any.
All right, and everyone gets 36 gold pieces.
Mm-hmm.
We did a small venture when you were gone. We're splitting
okay.
up the goods.
The bounty is
You said-
dispersing.
It was 10 platinum.
10 platinum, 36 gold pieces, and 5 copper pieces.
Good thing our day-to-day expenses don't rely on copper pieces.
That'd be it. Question.
Mm-hmm.
Did everyone get out of the 5,000 gold pieces when we finished?
Yes,
Okay,
I know that because there was a plus 1,000 written.
everyone got their 1,000. Okay, all right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have known that.
Okay.
Must have jotted it down real quick.
Okay.
And then never added it. Get in there, paper.
Okay, and there's still no way for me to go back and get the finances of the gems that I tried to get.
That is coming very soon.
Okay.
The rock collector must go visit the rock tumbler.
And it'll be something that you will be given at the temple, because that was the agreement that you had with him, that he would just forward it. That
correct.
You get X amount of.
Yep. And speaking of the temple, I will donate to the temple my 20% from
Okay.
the finances I just divvied up.
Okay. All right. So, you guys have a meal. And the rest of the night is yours if anybody wants to do anything, or we can move on to the next day. And keep in mind, Sibble is not with you.
Okay. Or
At this
the
point.
D-man.
Or the D-Man, or Isaac.
Okay. All right.
Sibble stayed at the
The temple.
temple.
Okay. All right, let me write my platinum pieces here. Okay. Is there a in the temple? Is there a spot where if we want to get some potions, we can get that before we go?
Yeah, you guys can get that some of those before you
Okay.
before you
For
go.
those who talked about they had finances and have to live like they're not poor, you might want to think about looking at maybe potions that you might personally like to have for yourself and those around you.
More things to carry.
I'm sure it can stick in your utility
There is
belt
always
quite
a
nice.
reason to say no.
Well, it's hard to share with other people because I'm not always next to them. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gold pieces, 29, 60, 74. Okay, I want to see how many vials of healing that I have. Okay, I have one.
What kind of healing potions are you looking for?
I would look for a standard healing one.
That's
for
50 gold.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine. Ooh. How much would a potion of speed run nowadays? Is that like 800?
I have to find my piece of paper.
I think there's a discount day today.
Potion of speed is 500.
500.
Yep.
Oh, I had to get rid of some platinum to do that. Tis gone. All right, well, I'm going to write how much it's worth. 500.
All right. So is anybody doing anything?
3.
How much is a potion of greater healing?
Extra healing is 300, and then you
So
have
it's
superior.
50, 300.
It's 50, 300,
Yeah,
800, and then 1700.
Okay.
Was it greater
And it's-
restorations?
No, there's healing, extra
Yeah.
healing, superior, and supreme.
Supreme is,
The 1700.
what is the dice? roll?
10d4 plus 10.
It has a red label and
Possible
white
50.
text.
Yeah, yeah. Possible 50 blood points.
So it's
And there's
You-
other types of potions that heal you and then do like healing over time and things like that. But those are the generic like healing
yeah.
potions.
How much are those healing over time?
If
Well, those ones
constitutions
are
aren't
more expensive.
Right, I
Oh.
would think so. Like more than the Supreme.
No, because they don't heal as much, but then they give you healing over time.
Hmm.
So there's not like an instant like, but
Yeah, for those who only get one every hour, it would help you quicker than that.
or no, it's not healing over time. It is
Oh, never mind.
it is a burst of healing, and then it also removes
Paralysis.
regular types of diseases or paralysis and poison as well,
Okay.
which the other healing potions do not do. They
Correct.
just heal you.
They don't sanitize the system.
Correct.
They just- I one
And that's a
vial
potion of
antidote.
vitality, which is 1200.
So then the normal healing potions are 2d4 plus 4. Then it's is it 2d?
2d4 plus 4, and then 4d4 plus 6, and then 8d4 plus 8, and then 10d4 plus 10.
Okay.
And the potion of vitality does, I think it's like 64 plus 6 or something like that. So you're like right in between extra and superior, but then you get the, I'm paralyzed or whatever, like I'm sick from being out in the cold too long or whatever, or I'm poisoned, now that's out of your system. So you're paying for the extra effects of flushing the system out, basically.
Okay. The Vigons are probably by 6, just standard healing.
Okay. So that would be 300 gold.
So 3 pieces.
Gotta find my little discs. Oh, I might have.
I would like to go and see if there's a way, an armor smith, before I venture over to the lodge.
Oh, thanks.
How many did you get?
You got 6.
No.
I got 2. I have 3 total. I don't think I have a chip that represents anymore. 'Cause I think
You
I
have
gave
3
it to,
total?
Yeah, I think I gave mine to Sibble earlier as a token, but not as an item.
Here's 3. All right, so you got your potions.
Oh, wait, I have it. It's right here. 2d4 plus 4, so I did have it.
Awesome.
Okay. I did have it. Is there an icon for anything other than healing that you have, or that's just what you have for now?
I just have those for healing.
Okay. All right.
Mainly because the other ones are all cards, and for healing potions,
For descriptions.
I didn't want to have to print out like multiple things and then cut them all out and whatnot.
All right. Sure.
So if I could just get a whole bunch of those little die and then just write whatever it is on it.
All right.
Go for it.
So
I was looking to see if I could go to an armorer.
okay.
I would like to see about getting barding for my bear.
And you can do that tomorrow. It is kind of late at this point.
Okay, they're closed up after 5 or something.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
6 by the time you guys are
Alright.
leaving, and then going to, buying stuff, and then
Alright.
at the same time going and getting something to eat. It's well after 7 o'clock.
That's fine. I'll do it tomorrow.
As soon as you get out of work, everything closes.
Yeah,
It's like they heard we were coming.
that's why you like to work early first shift.
All right. So anything
Good
before you guys rest for the night, or
I mean, I suppose I would, since nothing's going on and I can use PowerPoints, I would probably pop up Brutus and have some time with him.
Okay.
Just talk and see if there's a way that he can retain some of the information I've learned, and if needed to pass it down, he would be educated on it also. And talk to him about, I would like to get a studded leather of some sort at a barding on him to help him out while he's down here helping me. Then I guess I would just meditate about the Creator.
Okay.
And ask for guidance.
All right. Anybody else? Oak is staying kind of in the back of the building, just so that he's not there scaring people at the front of
He's just
the
trying
lodge and whatnot. And he's not really going to fit upstairs with you. So.
He's trying to mingle in the back corner near the broom closet.
So you find your room and kind of lean out the window and get him to come over, and then he kind of stays there underneath your window.
Digs a hole in the ground for
Sure.
a little burrow area.
Sure,
Stay
we'll go with that. So,
down.
anything anybody wants to do, or
Sleep.
doesn't sound like it? All right,
Sounds great.
Nope, we're gonna
Sleep.
go to bed.
all right. So next morning
Rather
comes,
than
and you
for
guys
my
are
previous
greeted
night,
with morning smells of food and
Safety.
yep.
Whatever that smell is, it's
Carl wakes up to the occasional boom, boom from outside, and
What do you want?
As you guys make your way downstairs, you go out and you grab some stuff as you're heading out, and to take out to Oak so that he has something to eat, so he doesn't.
Don't eat me. Eat this
so,
instead.
so he doesn't, get all riled up and whatnot. And then you guys sit down for a meal, which is another silver piece for a meal.
We'll indulge.
It costs 1. I will do it.
You guys are sitting in a table, not necessarily in the corner, but off to the side. And as you guys are eating, you guys don't take up all the chairs at the table.
Because Oak's not there.
And there is an empty chair that is not taken. And then
Empty chairs.
you guys are eating, carrying on conversations about what you'd like to do during the day. And a hooded young elven woman approaches the table and grabs the chair and spins it around and does like the cowboy straddle
Like I
type
did
thing,
when I was talking to Derek.
What's she wearing?
She is
Not a dress.
hooded and has
Just saying.
has a
Cloak?
cape or cloak around her with a hood that's over her face. But you can tell that it is a woman that is sitting down, and you can tell that
What's
she has
on her legs?
pants.
Leather?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm just.
You're not getting a good shot of her. Like, it's basically like you guys are carrying on a conversation.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, some stranger
the
just
corner of
sits
my eye,
down,
yeah.
at
Yeah.
your table. A figure sits down, and you guys are all just like, the conversation just stops.
Her hood is up like she's hiding her face.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just, it's up. She's not exactly
Let me see
looking
if I
around at
want
all
hood
of you.
inside.
But she sits down, and you guys, like, the conversation just stops. And she sits back and removes the hood.
She's not.
And you see short red hair that is braided on the sides here that come from the front and braid all the way back to a ponytail in the back. And then at the bottom part of the hair here is basically like shaved buzz cut type.
Boy, someone butchered that.
An undercut.
She looks over all of you and just takes a good look at all of you. And then says, I've seen you guys around.
We've been.
You guys have
around.
a name?
Well, my name is Torvine. And yours?
Not the droids you're looking for.
Not important, but
That's a strange name.
just curious. I've seen you guys around and heard things through the grapevine.
Who's looking?
Yeah. You were here during the festival, weren't you?
It was very festive.
Yes, but not in a happy way.
There were extra events that nobody entered.
It takes a certain type of person to jump into the fray and jump into the chaos that is conflict, especially at a time of festivities, and to protect the innocents, and protect those around them, and to just risk your life for people you don't know.
There was some of that going on.
Someone.
And again, she's straddling the chair and has her arm up like this.
She
and
leaned
she's just
forward,
kind of
yeah.
leaning forward, talking to you. And interesting.
Talking or
thinking.
sizing us up?
Yes.
Tara thinking,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you looking
It
at
looks
me
like
for,
she's
weirdo?
sizing you guys up to see what you're about.
Oh,
and
she's
just,
sizing us up. I better bring
Well,
Oak
I'm
in
up.
here.
2 feet and 1 inch.
Stop slouching, Raylog.
Well,
Buck up.
I don't know if you're worth it, or if possibly you would be a good addition, but
We're going to be part of a collection?
Yes,
An
I
exclusive.
hear that
I've
you
never
were
been asked to be
interested
a
at one
figment.
point in the Slayers Guild across the city.
the people with the weird tree and the artsy fartsy gates. Yes.
My comrades where I don't know anything about.
Are you still interested in the Slayers Guild, or have you lost interest?
Depends on what you mean by interested. Are we curious about them and learning about them? Yes. Do we want to join them? We don't know enough about them to speak on that.
Well, I can't speak for them, but
Oh, you
if you're
can't.
interested,
Okay.
and it is true that you are interested, perhaps you should swing by for a visit.
Depends on where we're swinging by.
How long does it take to go to this guild?
Granted,
It's
it's
way-
like 6, 7 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
All the way up there.
Yep, it's across the city, so it's like a good
Our
4
mode of
hours.
transportation goes like that.
But that was during the festival, so it might not take as long.
I
It's
do
not
have
as
a horse,
it's not as busy as it would have been.
and I have a bear.
As if that's going to
If anybody
expedite
needs a
the
ride,
process.
Out of the way.
expedite the process. Yeah.
If you are interested and you wish to visit, you get to the gate. Tell the guards, Aurélie Elestel.
For a minute, I thought you were saying, "Oh, really?" and his name was Estelle. Oh, really, Estelle? What's cooking, Estelle?
Who here knows Elven?
Which kind do you want?
The basic type, you're fine.
I know Common, High Elvish, Saldarian, and Aquian.
So you know all Elven.
Mm-hmm.
And what she
yes,
really
the basic.
said was,
This
I'm better
is
than
High Elven, and it means balance above all.
She's dexterous.
Aurélie Ilestel.
Spell, please.
Orilli, and then Ilestel. Aurélie Ilestel.
Oh, really?
D, 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 D.
And she is an elf.
Estelle.
Balance above all.
Tell the guards
At the gate,
at the gate.
that. And then she gets up and walks away.
Sleep. No.
Oh, she gets up,
Yeah.
does a bow, and then
Trips over her long cape, flips her hood, acts like no one saw that, and walks away.
We don't know her name.
Nope.
Just call her Ginger Punk.
Ginger.
Ginger Punk.
Punk.
She told you to
Ginger
go
punk
to the
elf.
gate and say
Aurélie Estelle.
Ilestel.
Yeah, that's it.
You say it wrong, it might go like
Like hamburger.
Diagon Alley
Hamburger.
versus Diagonally.
You know High Elven. It's fine.
I've got the
Punk. Is that with a
Accent down.
capital P?
Punck.
There's a C in there?
Punk. Punk.
There. Looks like punch.
Maybe your name's Judy.
There you go, Punch and Judy.
Why are
My
we
name's
punching
Judy Punch.
She never fit in.
But I don't go by that
Okay.
name. I go by
All right.
32. That's my name.
And the name of this place again?
There's the Slayers Guild.
Slayer's Guild.
Slayer.
Oh, that sounds like a family place. Let's bring the kids like Chuck E. Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Did she have any scars
And
on her
yes,
face?
as she was walking away, she was wearing pants. Leather pants.
Pantalones. Yes. Okay. Gotcha.
Glad we got
Alright.
that out of the way.
As you were wondering.
It's the idea.
I said
did she
she's
look
not
like
wearing
a
a
commoner
dress.
or an adventurer? That's what
I
it's
got you. I got
Yeah.
you.
I'm like, she's not
Did she have
wearing
back
a dress.
pockets?
She had a cloak on.
Oh, so I only saw around her.
You
calf.
saw when she stood up
The
and
calf,
fell
when
that
it
she
split.
did have.
She's not
see.
wearing. If she's not wearing a dress, I can't ask her. Does it have pockets? No,
Okay. Well, she bowed though. She didn't have to.
it's an
curtsy.
empowered dress that has pockets.
Mhm. Okay. Slayer's good. All right. Well, we don't have anything else to do. We already studied the stuff, and maybe the guild might have more information on whereabouts of destinations that are related to in the
Yeah.
past about where this beastiness was run into. Maybe they've run into these things.
It is beastiness.
Mhm.
Okay. But you
I
guys
have
are
a
able to
hunch.
finish your breakfast
Oh, goody.
Or
uninterrupted.
yeah,
Does
the
Oak
rest
go
of the
with
time.
us?
What type of footprints did she leave? Are they easy to follow? Does she have high heels?
No.
Moccasins?
No.
Human foot shoes?
Yeah.
Did they leave footprints?
No. Like dust footprints? Like no.
There's an oblong impression.
What color was her cloak?
Black.
Black?
Mhm.
While she's walking away,
Mhm.
I want to do detect empowerment.
That hairstyle ain't empowered, says Connor.
What glows?
What
Ah,
glows there?
I'll let these guys see whatever glows also.
What glows
You
there?
see two. You see two daggers
She's
on the
loaded.
back end that are
Mhm.
crisscrossed,
Okay.
that are blessed, not glowing
packing
like
heat.
super.
See, this is what I want to see if it's blessed or enchanted and whatever. This is
Um,
okay.
And then there's also two swords at both sides that are glowing blue as well. And she has, let's see, she has boots that are glowing. She also has the cloak is glowing as well.
Man, she's loaded.
Well, it won't be hard to follow her if we just wait till nightfall.
They have to be activated.
Still, one of us will be able to follow her at least.
Okay.
She's lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Nothing has
Could have followed
empowerment
her with her eyes
goggles.
closed.
Nobody has empowerment goggles like night vision goggles.
I can make them.
I mean,
Just wait until I'm level 16, which won't happen. I'll only be level 15.
that takes so long.
That's true. Okay, boots and cloak and daggers. Okay, multiple weapons.
Oh, in a
and doubles.
bag. There's a pouch or a large pouch-like bag on
Like a
her
pouch of
side.
holding
She
some
has
shit.
a
That
puak.
is, yes, a puak.
That is a glowing puak.
A glowing puak.
Woo! It's like a
Where'd you
Gucci.
get your bling thing,
A
honey?
Gucci pouch. Okay.
Is there more bling in that thing?
All right. Well, that's one big thing I wanted to see that she was holding up. That Ginger Punk had some blessed
Hey,
items.
Ginger! That's her name. Hey, Ginger!
There you go.
Ginger Judy Punk.
Yeah. It's her fault. She didn't introduce herself, and I heard a voice.
You don't supply a name, you earn a name.
So
okay.
she's Ginger Punk right now. Okay.
You have to know who we're talking about here.
Ginger
We all know
Mary
who we're
Ann.
talking about.
Okay. What do you guys say after we eat and burp? Unless someone's got something else other to do as an itinerary, other than I want to go get my bear sized for barding.
Mm-hmm.
You're bear sized.
Mine as well. I got stuff.
So,
Colton's not
Raylog,
going to try
what about
to
you guys?
impersonate my
You guys
face.
have anything to do today while we go and size our animals? It'll only take us a half hour-ish or whatever. You have something you want to go do?
Does Dothra want to
I don't
arrange
think so.
daisies?
We're gonna do more research today.
We're done with research. We just had an invitation to go visit the
Slayers Guild.
Yeah, I remember hearing a little bit of something Sibble talked about, but it was so far away, and apparently they didn't have a way in, so it was dropped at that time. But this person approached us. We do seem to have a way in to
Apparently
see
we
about
gotta
this
go talk to,
organization that might have ties
We gotta
to
go
help
talk to
protect
Estelle.
us.
Bygones. Well, I mean, you can do a history check, an intelligence check to see what you remember from. Because you were there when you went over
Yeah,
there,
but
you just
yeah.
weren't here.
Well, that's a 6, and I have a 19.
Okay. Basically, what happened before is you guys went over there because you wanted to look at the tree. You were told that you weren't allowed in there.
Not even.
You guys asked around the town, more particularly in the slums, to see what information you could find out about the Slayers Guild. You found some people that work the stables and found that, for the most part, they're fine. They do get unruly whenever they want their animal ready at a certain time and they weren't given like heads up or whatever, and they get upset whenever their horse isn't ready whenever they get there or something like that because they're trying to leave in a hurry or something like
Hey,
that.
you've got a rental. You want to get going.
But other
know
than
they're in a
that,
hurry.
that's and
She
you
didn't give
also
us a
know
name, she
that
just left.
only select people are allowed in there, and
You have to know
that's what
Estelle.
we're-
you were
You
also
have to know Estelle.
given a name, Zathras,
Is that like
which
a plant?
was
Spelling.
you guys should have this in your notes.
Well, they probably do. I don't.
Zathras,
Oh, really?
Zathras.
Who is that, Chris?
He was
Crazy.
supposedly the guy in charge of the Slayers Guild. And he decides whether or not
If you're worthy.
you are worthy to be in the guild or not. And you guys asked, well, how do I find this Zathras? And you were told you don't.
Correct.
He finds you.
Yeah, and that's why he sent Ginger to us.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
That is what
Ginger came and
happened
punked us.
before.
With a CH. Punch.
Mhm.
So.
Okay.
Okay. So considering there seems to be a small history, I think it seems to be an open door for us to finish our curiosity.
Yep.
And-
I have a
and it might be
hunch
a part of a
about Slayers
puzzle
Guild.
for us to understand more history lore. So, but yeah, let's Gothra and,
All right. So, anyway, so what are you guys
and
doing?
Raylog, if they have something else they wanted to talk to somebody in
When the
town,
ranger has a point.
while we're going to size our bears, you can go do that.
Sizing your bear.
Well, yeah, hers is an
I know
extra
some
large.
people call their feet dogs, but I mean,
Dogs.
So are you guys
Yeah, dogs are
going
fun.
to the armorer?
Yes.
All right.
do you have anything in triple XL?
You're not talking about yourself, are you?
I'm
No.
not talking about yourself, are you?
Snaps behind her.
Not.
Oh, that triple XL. You sure you're not interested in the 5XL? No, triple XL.
Okay.
Trying to
Armor.
slow
Saying
down.
something? Cut back on your berries.
Yes.
Too much.
All right. So.
DEARIES.
All right. So you find a blacksmith / armorer shop called the King's Anvil.
Sounds reasonable.
And I need to find my paper that has this stuff on here.
Oh, you just don't tell me the name of the fellow, just spell it out.
King's Anvil.
The
K-Y-N-G.
Oh, well, she was talking. Hold on.
BA
B.A. Baracus.
FRIM.
Barfrim.
Bafrim.
B-A-F-R-I-M.
Well, at least the F and the R are FR instead of RF.
Okay.
That wouldn't work well if the R and the F switched places.
Okay. I assume he has
Bafrim.
hirelings beating on other things.
Yep.
Okay. So they're hitting things in tandem. Okay.
Is a middle-aged looking dwarf with some gray hair in his beard and his hair,
He's probably
brown
married.
hair.
Yeah.
pulled back into like kind of like a bun back here because it is
Right.
longer.
I mean,
But
gotcha.
yeah, you approach as you come in and approach the counter, and he is there working on some papers. And yes, how can I help you?
Carl, would you like to be first?
Since my order is obviously going to be the bigger one.
Okay. I'll give you the condensed quick one then. I would like to have barding for a bear. A bear that is.
That's a bit of unusual.
Yes, I seem to run in that. I'm actually looking up at you.
Mine's listed as medium too.
He's a funny one.
Yes.
Ha.
Actually, you probably would like to measure the bear to get
Ha.
schematics on it.
Preferred.
Okay, all right.
Starting with
I bring
the
up
birth.
companion.
Okay. Okay. It's been a while since I've
This is Brutus,
done barding for
an animal.
everybody else. Saw that.
What?
It just showed up out of nowhere.
What? The bear?
Yeah.
Wait.
Mine's highly compact.
Okay.
Came from the quantum
He grabs a measuring tool to go through and starts taking
tape?
measurements, and he's very like
Stand
careful
up.
about going around this bear.
Yeah.
But he gets the measurements that he needs, and
Okay.
all right, and starts writing and writes them all down.
Okay.
Is there a time that you need this by, or is it a rush order?
I don't think it's a rush order. I would like to make sure that you would be able to appropriately within a certain time to do it, of course, but I don't think it'd be a rush.
Okay.
I'm not overly demanding.
Not going to ask about an estimated window when it would be done.
I was waiting for him to get it.
Oh, it'll generally. I mean, I'm not jam packed right now, so.
Oh, rush
Now it's working.
Well, if you say rush, you might have to pay more. Anyway.
Maybe 3-4 days, maybe.
Oh, that's a good window. I think that's quite.
At most, it would be a week, but I'm guessing it'd probably be around 3 to 4 days.
Weekdays. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So you take care of your order.
What types of barding do you offer?
Now I gotta find the different types of barding that there are.
That's the noisy type.
You gotta pull this out here. Yeah.
My armor's right here.
You want your bifocals for that?
And we do not
Help you
have
get in the
that
role.
on this list.
I'm just looking at body armor in general. I mean, this has barding in it,
Yeah,
but
that's
that's
what
the
I was
old
looking
version.
for.
Oh, okay. It's in equipment, I think.
Yeah, I just gotta find it.
Yeah, someone put this together kind of crazily.
Just gotta find it.
Second edition.
Where?
Oh, it's right there. Barding. Studded leather, half scale, half leather, blah, 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 blah.
He can basically do anything but full plate, basically.
Yeah. I wouldn't want banded. It's too heavy. Holes about chain.
Okay. I'm gonna say that that's gonna be like kind of in the middle between normal and high, so I'm gonna say that's like 1,000. Yeah.
Oh, let me look at my finances. Well, time frame with those gems coming in through the temple. Is that?
It'd be another day or two.
I think I can.
Mainly just because I have to total everything up.
I
Yet.
understand. Yep. That's
I
fine.
meant to have that so that you guys could come back to
Yeah.
the city today and have it, but
Well, things happen.
totally bypassed, and I didn't make a note to do it.
Yeah.
So
I don't mind freebies. It's fine. Yes, I think I would like to have this Barding chainmail.
okay. Well, I'll get that ready for you, and then
Can you also have a strap-on helmet on him? On his head?
yeah, we can make that part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, a little. He takes the measuring tool out and measures around the head and
Okay.
gets what he needs. Okay.
Okay, that'll work. Thank you.
All right. So then,
Yes.
here is the chart
Thank
down
you.
on the bottom here.
Yep. The little one.
He can do everything but full plate.
Okay.
And no matter how much DR you want to stick
Yep,
on
it depends on how much you want to spend and what the DR you want is.
I will take the half-banded male.
Going for the big boy.
Okay, how much is that? What's the normal and the
1,700 gold pieces.
what's the
high.
normal and what's the high?
The high is 1,700 gold pieces.
What's the normal?
The norm is 800. That's what norm charges.
We're
not at Norm's shop.
I'm thinking like 13.
Yeah, it's around there.
1,300.
Okay.
Well, money bags over is good to go.
But
You
you will
want-
pay that. You can either do half now and then half whenever it's ready, or you can just wait until it's completely ready. Because they can always reshape it into stuff
For
if they
something
need
else,
to
yeah.
if you're unable to pay for it and whatnot. So
I will be paying for the horting now.
okay,
Okay.
so
and
1,300.
And I put the +5 DR.
Not yet, because it's not
He's
made.
gotta
He
make
I
it.
know,
has to
but
make
when
it.
for the
I
future
get
number.
it,
I got you.
where does
Yeah.
it
It
go?
goes
on
in
my
with the Oak's DR, which is the shield. Yep.
So it just stays on there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. While he's wearing it.
Okay. Like, I need to figure that out now
Well, good.
so that I don't have to figure it out later.
I
Okay.
know that one was there.
What is that? A +5.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then take into consideration, there's also speed impediments for some of them too.
Yes.
Mm.
That's a quarter.
So what's his speed normally? I think it's like 8
I'm
squares.
looking at life points.
I think it's like 40 feet.
40 feet.
So it'd be
Minus 10, 30 feet. Because it's minus a quarter, right?
yeah,
30 feet.
yeah,
6 squares, not 8.
yep. Just because he weighs a little bit more now.
But I don't usually move him super
Yeah, that
fast
much
anywhere anyway, so it's fine.
Okay,
It's my tank.
so you guys got your barding ordered and good to go. You can come back in a couple days and check on it. Okay, what's next?
I guess they're not doing anything.
Just mark down whether you're paying half of that now or half of that later.
I'll do half
or,
now. Yeah.
And how much that is.
That's 500.
1,800.
Okay.
All
All right, what's next? You guys going over to the guild then?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys go over.
Okay, I'm gonna keep the bear up.
Okay. How long does he last?
I think he
I know it's
lasts.
hours wise, but
Yeah.
I don't remember how many hours.
I think he's.
He
up to
might
like
disappear.
6.
Oh no, he's around then.
I
Never
think
mind.
he's up to 6.
Okay.
Yeah, where is he? See, companion.
Okay. So you guys get up to the gate.
No, he's up
And-
to 3 hours.
Okay. So he's coming to the tail end of it by the time you get over there. You'll have like a good 40 minutes or so that
Okay.
he's up.
Hang on.
You guys get over there and go up to the gate, and the guards kind of look at you,
Are
But
they
don't
the
say anything.
Same guards that we saw before for those who approached.
They
earlier?
look similar, but it's not the same ones.
Probably
as you.
a
But
rotation.
now we know their name: O'Reilly and Estelle. One has a long, scraggly-looking beard, and he looks kind of like this. He says, "Where do you think that you're going?"
The GM will remember that.
Estelle, you don't look like an Estelle. It's a family name.
Estelle.
No, then.
It's a family name. Don't make fun of me.
Do you want to approach first?
Sure. O'Reilly and Estelle. I say it more seriously, but
Okay. So you say this to them, and the one opens the gate for you, and then kind of bows and says,
oh, I get a bow.
"Il Estelle," as you approach and go through the gate.
I guess that means by all means, let's go.
Above all?
Yes.
I go through. Does he let
Above
everybody
all.
else through too?
Is the response thing.
Yeah.
AKA by all means. Okay.
Tattooed on my arm.
By any means.
So
By all
you
means.
said balance above all, and then he responded with above all.
The syntax is the same as English. Okay. I mean common.
He is risen. He is risen indeed.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Does he let everybody else in?
Yep,
behind
everybody
me?
else.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can tell we're part of the.
I vouch for my whole crew.
All right, so you guys walk in, and the
We're
road veers around. You come
We're cool.
to a
Vera.
part where the
Yes.
road kind of splits
Vera.
into a Y.
Oh,
It goes
choices.
left and right.
Why?
Is there arrows on the
Why?
floor? Follow the
Why?
green line?
Nope.
Yellow line?
Nope. And it's very nice road here. Very nice landscaping. Trees are well kept in here.
Courtyard.
Yep.
Okay.
Not quite a courtyard. There's
A yard.
trees along
Sure.
the sides and whatnot, and there's trees in front of you too.
Okay.
So you just see the road, the well kept road that, the sides are kept,
Okay. So
nice.
You can't see past the trees directly in front of us?
Nope.
Of course I can.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So we don't see where any of those roads end to.
Yeah, but you just see that they veer off and then they eventually
Okay, go
veer
around. Seem like
around like that.
the northern side is most likely towards the direction of the water.
Ocean. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe we'll know that for known.
You can see a massive tree on the right hand side that's standing
That's
above
where
everything
we're
else.
going.
Which is what you guys were drawn
Yes.
to begin with.
Okay.
When I zoom
makes
in on
sense.
the map and I look in there for a minute, I thought that was an island.
Oh, it's a tree.
Maybe you can make it an
Again.
island later. Good. Reference.
All right. So you guys make your way down the right road.
The correct one.
You guys travel for a good 2 minutes or so. And then eventually the middle part opens up and you see just a grass field, and you see a bunch of like wooden dummies with
Watch your language.
It's target practice.
yep, like for target practice and things like that. And you see
Dart
a
game.
multitude of
They have
individuals
feelings too.
with armor and
Practicing.
various different types of weapons, from throwing axes to hacking and slashing with various different types of pole arms
Anyone
and other
want a detective
weapons and
powers?
archery and
Anyone.
everything you can imagine. And then
Is this like 50 people? Or like 10?
more like 50, 60-ish.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yep.
Just getting a
Anyone
grain
gonna
scale.
Yep.
detect anybody at all?
It's a Bruce Lee movie. All the flunkies are down there doing their thing.
And then you see up where you can see the other road on the other side, which is like way over there, like football field
I'm glad we didn't
away.
go that way. That's way left field.
And you see where the road converges at the top, and
Mhm.
there's this massive, fancy-looking building.
Oh, build.
And of course, the tree is
Clubhouse.
over there.
Okay. Do we want to go to the tree, or do you want to go towards the pretty building? Does the building have any cultural makings, or like dwarven, elven, or just somebody who's cheap to get to make a building?
Familiar motifs.
It doesn't really have like any particular
Vibe.
motif. I would say it leans more towards elven than
The elven?
anything.
Because we're in nature area more?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it
No wonder
has
they
more of
let
a
me in.
elven motif to it.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, Ginger was an elf, so maybe there's some sort of correlation.
Also,
there.
looking at these various different individuals in the yard that are practicing, there is a smattering of
Different
dwarves,
races.
all kinds of different things. The only thing you don't see is Vigons. There are no Vigons here.
Well, we don't see a
Well,
lot of
now there
Vikings
are.
anyways. Okay.
They're just
There's
behind
no
us.
Twiglets either, I assume.
There is one Twiglet
Oh
in
no,
amongst
no
them,
moss.
which you occasionally, which
I want to be
you
unique.
pick out, but it is like this small little individual, like just roaming around, in amongst them.
How does it feel to not
Roaming
have all
Roaming
the
around and then, practicing something and then, going something else. And,
Age-wise, young,
middle-aged-ish.
Oh, so old enough, not like a child.
No, not a child.
Not like
Not a
teen.
teenage
Right.
beatnik.
The water boy making sure no one passes
No,
out
no,
from
no.
lights. Okay.
The
No,
buckets are like as
Yeah.
big as him.
He's got a little squirt bottle.
just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, that was good. Okay.
Plunk.
All right.
Look like
Knife
a
dropper.
little kid carrying golf clubs as a caddy and whatnot. Like, I got your sword. I got
Wait
your
for
sword.
me.
Victory!
All right.
All right. So you guys make your way around the road and eventually come up to the building.
Do we notice
fancy-
anyone looking at us?
Yeah. There's individuals that kind of stop what they're doing and
We don't.
eye
like,
you guys as
Yeah.
you were
Is it the
walking
bears?
in.
Is it the
and
Vigons?
they
we don't
kinda-
distract people and they
Nope.
hit each other accidentally.
Nope. And then they kind of go back to what they're doing.
Okay. All right. I'll be obvious and eyeball them when I'm walking.
Like people look over and then you're like,
What you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna look like I'm averting my eyes, but I was like, yeah, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you, I'm looking, I'm not.
nice farm.
Yeah.
Kara's walking like the aristocrat she is, and every once in a while just turns around and goes,
All right. I guess while we're walking,
Waggles
This
I'll,
was a
her fingers.
mistake.
waggles her fingers at people.
I'll climb on my bear while this is going on, making Brutus just walk.
As you guys are approaching the building, you guys, one of the Vigons make an awareness check since you have the highest.
Yeah, that
Awareness.
worked out really well last
Both-
time.
both of
Appreciate
them?
that.
Both of
Can't
them
we
or
all
one of
do it?
them?
I mean, both of them can do it, or whatever.
Opera failed.
What's with this
Greylock made it.
90s?
Okay.
Oh,
Raylog notices a figure in the top floor of this building, watching you guys approach.
Save the damsel
looking
in
through a
distress.
window.
and then the curtain.
Kind of like the curtains, like here, and you can just see like a
The cheek.
figure just kind of like
Peek.
watching you approach the building.
Like the evil stepmother in Disney
Out of
animated
curiosity or like with
I was
some
thinking-
intent?
I was thinking the Pope looking out at the masses.
Is he gonna come out in a bubble mobile?
What time of day is this?
It's getting towards midday-ish, like
Towards
11
noon.
o'clock-ish.
Okay.
All right, so you guys get to the door. You go to knock, and right as you go to knock, the door just
Oh, hello.
opens for
So is
you.
this the same building? I saw someone peering out. Okay.
But it was the
Beyond the-
side of the building, and
But
it
the
was on
higher
the top floor.
Top
So you
floor
walk-
of how many floors?
3 floors.
Like the library. That's the first and second.
Walk in, and it's a big, wide open room with a large table spreading through the middle of the table that has all types of fruits and vegetables. It's like a
Big rectangle.
oval. It's got the round ends
So it
to
is
it.
round. No.
Looking for King Arthur.
What is with
Is
the
there
chair?
a big rock out
the
here?
chair.
Sticking out of a rock.
All kinds of fruits and vegetables on there. A lot that you recognize, some that you don't.
Is there orange?
Exotic.
Yes, there is oranges and
You gotta
orange
buy the
juice.
water.
I'll gravitate to that.
And
No one said I could take it.
beautiful,
Over
beautiful decor in here with dark wood with finish on it.
Chandeliers.
Um,
Chandeliers.
Yep, chandeliers.
Glitz and
And
glam.
along the wall on the above, there are different plaques with various different heads mounted to them of various different types of creatures on them. You have
Santa? No.
Sibble?
you
Is that
have
you?
yeah, very large looking boar head
Who you calling
mounted.
boring?
There's several different types of lizards, all various different types of creatures mounted on plaques as trophies along the sides of this building. And as you approach, there's a figure at the far end of the table that has an apple in his hand and is in the middle of taking a bite of the
I
apple.
was going to say, or in his mouth.
And sees you guys approach, and he has a studded leather on with various different types of knives and things like that on his chest, and then also on his thighs that are like strapped to on both sides, and then this long sword that is on his back. Short, spiked black hair that's like almost like a military like cut.
He's human?
Is this Y2K?
Let me, after I covered up
That's
all
when they
my
found it.
stuff here. Where'd it
Military
go?
found it?
Where'd it go?
And the Slayer's Guild was
Where did it
founded.
go?
That's why the hairstyle.
No, he is Elven.
What a
Well,
disgrace.
Wood Elf, actually.
Oh, never mind. They're rebels.
And he's in the middle of eating an apple and just sees you guys enter in and kind of squints his eyes at you, and the doors shut, and you see two individuals leaving the door,
Yeah, I look
basically,
back.
that opened it and closed it as you guys approached, and then closed them as you came in.
I'll get off from Brutus.
Figure he takes another bite of the apple.
Mm-hmm. I go get an orange juice while he's doing that.
Gotta keep my sugar level.
There's just like awkward silence as you guys are standing there because you weren't given really any other instructions or anything.
I
We
can't
don't
help it,
know
they
the
let us in.
decorum.
So
They let us in, okay?
We see
there's like this
decorum,
awkward
tell
silence
me
of
about
like,
decorum.
okay, we came, we weren't really told anything else.
Mm-mm.
And then you got this awkward elf looking, just staring you guys down slowly, eating this apple.
Torvine doesn't say howdy as he jumps off Brutus.
No, I go straight to the orange
Go.
juice.
Eventually, this awkward silence finishes after he finishes basically the entire apple.
Did he eat the core?
I'm getting Denethor
Not
vibes.
quite. What's that?
I'm getting Denethor vibes. Here comes the short one about to say, how can we help?
I'm not going to pledge my allegiance to this person.
Denethor.
Did we make Torvine swear
No,
to say nothing at all before he came in?
Is this gonna be like
Somebody tell me.
the
We'll
Up
see.
movie when there's the thinking Rottweiler that comes up?
Great, you just blew the whole.
Don't be the first one to
finishes
speak.
the apple. Finishes the apple and then
Do the Heimlich on him. He's choking.
puts it down on the plate, and you
Yeah.
can tell that there's some attitude with it of just kind of like.
A thumb.
So, what can I help you with? You just walk in here. Can I help you with something? Help you find something?
We were invited here
Yeah,
by a figure
ginger.
that came to us and sought us out. And that is how we gained entrance into this establishment.
Where are you in regards to how the party is standing in the room?
The formation.
Like, are you the first one walking
Find
in,
No.
or are you guys like all in a group and you're in the back? Like,
Well,
how are
I'm
you-
a little off flank.
I feel like
Wherever
Brutus
that
is
table
kind
Did
of
you guys
behind.
split off on both sides of the table?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I feel like Brutus is kind of behind us, and like Braylog and Dotha are kind of kitty
In their own
corner
area, yeah.
back here.
We're
I'm
kinda split up.
mid-size. I'm
Kinda-
kind of in the middle
yeah.
front.
He looks at you and slowly walks forward, grabbing another apple.
That's right. Keep your mouth busy. Give yourself time to
You
think.
are invited.
All right.
You
She
don't
told
look the
us.
type that would be invited.
In her brain.
We're incognito. Okay.
Matter
Got
of
something wrong with
fact,
my type.
matter of fact, you don't look much of anything to me.
Well, I'm a thing.
That's good. You'd probably eat us if you did.
This is the little one.
You guys look like you would run at the first sight of trouble, like the little scaredy cat you are. He comes up to one of you and just gets like
I'm not a feline.
uncomfortably close. Obviously not one of the Vigons, because
Yeah, he'd be into their belly button.
yeah, he's like. But he gets
That
just
looks familiar.
comes up. We'll just say he comes up to you, Car, and he just gets like right in your face. And even as like you try to back away, he just keeps pushing forward.
So finally I go,
Up a nose hair.
like Gimli in the extended cut version.
Takes another bite of the apple. Cute. Yeah, I think you guys would just run the first sight of trouble.
I am 0 level.
Nothing. You're nobodies. Worthless.
Well, we don't know you, so how do we know you're a somebody who's calling us a nobody?
Me?
Yes,
No.
me.
Oh.
We don't even
He
know
might-
your
Why,
name.
I am Rixus. How could you not know me?
Well, we don't. So there you go. Sorry, Ranger Rick.
Well,
Can you spell that?
R-I-X.
it is Rixis. Rixus.
Like
Rixus.
crisis and fix put together.
He's a thick crisis.
Yes, he is.
Rixus. I can't say that right. Can you say that again?
Rixis.
X-I-S.
Rixus.
Rixus. I have a
Ranger
lisp now.
Rick-
Thank you. It's permanent.
Rixis.
Rixix.
His mouth got dry when he got talked down to.
Rixis.
He watered.
Where does
And you
Rixis
thought-
come from?
And you thought you were just going to walk in here and just join the guild, did you?
We didn't
Actually,
say anything about
we didn't say
joining.
anything about joining the guild.
Well, why else would you be here?
We
You
are
have
here
No
to
one
discover.
ever has interest in the guild unless they want to join.
We are investigating a situation, and we believe that the Slayers Guild may have pertinent
He
information.
slides up to you extremely, extremely quickly, like
Because that's what he does.
as you're talking about having a situation. And what kind of situation?
A rather, shall we say, morbid and brutal one.
Ah. Then you
Catch my
come
meaning.
to enlist our services then. But all of you coming to enlist our services.
Are you the recruiting officer or something here?
Do we get a free
Do I
lanyard?
look like a recruiting officer to you?
You look like
Can we get a bracelet or
highly
something?
decorated person that could do their job quite well.
Yes.
You haven't even asked for our address. Our email.
I guess you could say I'm one of the guild's aces in the whole, so to speak.
Ace. So you're
One minute you're
Rexus
Ranger
Ace.
Rick,
No.
then you're Spike,
That's
then
not
you're
my
Ace.
last name. You can just call me Rixus.
Like T-Rex.
So,
Your arms are longer than
why
I
did you
thought.
come here if not to join the guild?
Partly out of curiosity.
I'm surprised the Twiglet didn't say, "We like your tree.
I like his orange juice. I didn't know that till I got here.
You have the best imported orange
Curiosity.
juice."
Curiosity about
Information.
The morbid and brutal
God.
situation.
Well, the kind that we could use for our situation. Which is morbid.
And brutal.
Brutal.
And dark.
That's an add-on.
I see. And he turns around just like, like that on his heels and starts walking away, grabs another fruit off of the table and starts eating it.
Finally, he's further away.
He must have
Gets to the
goalies
far
in
end of the table and spins back around. You said that they knew how to handle themselves. I'm not too impressed. And you see a familiar cloaked female form walk around from behind one of the pillars in the room and say, "Oh, they know how to handle themselves. They may not look it, but they can handle themselves."
After all, we're not here to impress you.
Well, Rix just kind of looks at you and is like, "Well, if you don't impress me, you're not going to make it anywhere in the guild, so."
Why would we want to make it anywhere in your guild?
Well, for contracts,
We don't know
of
where your
course.
guild goes or anything like that.
Would
We
you
don't know
want
what
to
you do.
earn some money? You guys look like you can handle yourselves. You handled the festival fine with all those strange creatures that appeared and whatnot. Seem to excel at it, actually. But
part
how
of
would
that's
you
called
like to
survival.
do something like that, but also earn some coin?
Money is always something nice to have, but we are motivated by more than just money.
Huh. And the rest of you?
He doesn't look up and go, "What about you, big guy?"
He doesn't want to talk to a navel. He's already eating apples.
He looks
Yes.
a little funny
Yeah.
when he's
Yeah.
chewing an apple going, "What about you?" Looks like a 3-year-old.
You're getting the sense from this guy that he is very
Cocky.
full of himself and cocky, but then at the same
The
time
spiky hair gave it
is
away.
being condescending to you on purpose.
Seeing if
Seems
we're
like
bothered by his opinion.
Yeah.
to see what you guys are made of, to see
Well, we're not going to morph.
what you're
if that's
about.
what you
Yeah, we noticed, of course, you have a very impressive name for the guild, but there's things on the walls here.
Things.
Were these things here before you were part of the guild?
Some of them no, some of them I put up there.
Oh, so you're
Wow,
also the
look at
handyman. You put some of these up there for them.
He stands up. You realize he has
I
empowered
don't
hammer
know.
and nails.
I put some of them up there personally, but it wasn't
Oh.
just me putting them up on the wall.
Oh, so you would help to do
You're the
that.
taxidermist.
I'm the
Anyway.
one that killed or slew said creature.
With the way he smells. I
So
would
you
guess
were able to
taxidermist.
acquire some of these trophies by your expertise in combat. Recently? I mean, in the last year?
My skills generally call for a more particular type of contract that needs to be done. More dangerous, more interesting prey.
But not necessarily legal is the vibe I
Oh,
know.
it's totally legal.
Okay.
So these are exotic types of
Unique,
creatures?
exotic
I know where this
creatures
is going.
that are being a problem for someone somewhere, and they're willing to pay coin to have them removed from the situation.
Which is similar to like what attacked us from those portals.
In a way. If that was something that there was an infestation somewhere and somebody noble perhaps would want us to get rid of that, then
Exterminate.
that would be something that we might
In the back
consider
of Cara's mind,
or
she's
be
Oh, he might have been very
Mendoza
handy in
sounds
the
familiar.
caves down there at Whetstone.
In the back of Cara's mind, she's
We
thinking
ran
Mendoza.
across something that you described sort of unique in Whetstone
Mhm.
in the mines.
You see his attention is
Flare, yeah.
definitely
Mhm.
perked.
These
Okay,
creatures
go
are
on.
made from some strange potion called glimmer. It was made by an alchemist that pump this special brew into the veins of humanoids to create these troll-like zombies.
Troll-like.
Yeah.
Very resilient indeed.
Very resilient, and they healed very quickly.
I can imagine.
It took us a while to whittle them down. No.
Not easy to dispatch, I'm sure.
No.
Well, maybe you guys are more than meets the eye.
Well,
But it's hard to
situation
tell.
dictates how you can handle yourself in situations.
Well, to make sure that you guys are able to, if you're interested in any information that we have, or interested in the queue, or making some coin on the side, need to make sure that you guys are able to go the distance in a way to make sure that you're not just going to, that it wasn't just luck, that you were able to fend off or
Yes,
to...
I understand. I have a question for you, sir. Any of these exotic creatures or beasts that you were sent off to slay, have you encountered any that after you slayed the beast, it was no longer a beast, but a humanoid or a human? It reverted back from
Can't
beast form.
say that I personally have.
Have you heard of such a thing recently or in the past that the guild has had to deal with in that category?
Maybe.
Because it would be rather morbid to have a beast that turned back into a person and mount his head. That would look kind of awkward.
However, I am not at liberty to discuss guild information and secrets.
Oh, so who should we talk to do that if that's not your
no
forte?
one is going to tell you anything if you're not a guild member.
That's the information we seek.
And to be a guild member, you must prove yourself to me.
If we were to show you that we were worthy to get this information, it would be through a trial through you.
In a sense.
Can we find a bylaw that the guild stands for in what it's seen around the local community as, to know if this is something that we would wish to dabble in before we think about getting pertinent information by doing deeds through your guild?
You're asking him?
Yes.
If there's any laws on?
If there's a description, a belief system that the guild has that you look at to say, this is, I stand for this along with the guild, to participate
it is
in it.
our motto, which if you are even able to enter
Yes.
the facility, you would know our motto.
So that's all you had to go by is your motto?
Balance is a fragile thing, that the scales can be tipped one way or the other very, very easily. We seek to make sure that balance is kept.
While he's talking, I would like to do detect lessons America on him.
Okay. You see
And I would like
various different
them
types
see.
of items on him that glow green, but no blue.
Very good. That's pertinent information for everybody. So you can see the things that glow on him are green, not blue or red.
Correct.
That's a 60-foot radius.
Mhm.
Is there anything else around me?
You do see, obviously, you see the lady that you.
Yep. She has the
all of
normal-
her. However, she does have an additional item now. She has a bow on her,
There you go.
which also glows blue.
Ooh, a
That
blue
one
bow.
glows a little bit brighter than any of the other items that she has. In this room, there are a few items here and there that do have a green glow about them.
Okay. But nothing to speak of maybe later.
Nope.
Okay.
Yep.
And same thing with him. I see items, we can go over that later.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So this reminds me of the locks in the caves, an energy that's different than blessed and enchanted, a natural type. I understand to a degree where you're coming from. Without one, there can't be the other. And society is always going to have both.
Yes, and you cannot have darkness without light. There's always a balance, and if one side is to get too much, everything falls out of balance. And we are a system that desires to have the world in balance, to make sure that creatures that do not belong in a particular location are no longer there, and that the balance of that ecosystem is not completely thrown out of balance.
I see that. Most of those creatures are either obtained or made through outside influences that cause
And
it
then
to
we
become.
do come across that.
Yeah. Okay.
But that is what the guild stands for.
Okay.
We
I
seek
think that's,
balance in the world.
that's within its basics. I think that's quite honorable. Gives everyone else a shooting chance to do what they normally can do without something disturbing it in a negative light.
What chance?
And we understand, things happen, accidents happen, animals going on a rampage and this and that, but at the same time, that also disrupts the natural balance as well, because of them taking out like either a farmer or something like that. It all affects the balance.
Do you only do creatures? Have you been into balance of powers in governments?
On the rare occasion, we have taken sides.
Past.
On occasion.
Any examples?
Not on the wall.
Again, that is information that is privy to guild members.
Okay.
And the only way he would give us pertinent information that we would ask, and maybe not him particularly, but the guild itself to be a part of, we would have to prove our worth.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then join.
I'm still skeptical.
At least have the verification that you can be a guild member, not the idea that
Yes.
you are.
Exactly.
Oh, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's mine?
As it
Thank you.
stands, I will give you a trial for you to prove yourselves. And if you succeed in this trial, you will have earned your position within the guild.
What are the
I look at
standards for
Brutus
this
and I'm
test?
unempowered.
What's the grading
Okay.
scale?
He walks out of the room into the back and then comes back shortly.
Let's get more food.
He went to back?
With a piece of paper,
Look what they do have in the back.
and he
Guild
says,
members.
"All right, this is a contract that we received from Berkton.
Here we go, getting into
Where?
legality.
Berkton.
Burke, not
Assassinate
Burke.
your
Okay.
parents.
Berkton. Is to kill an unknown creature that has been disrupting the surrounding area.
Is it
Livestock has been going missing, hunters reporting game being scarce, as well as forest creatures acting odd. Even villagers occasionally going missing, more than normal.
How do you spell Berkton?
Berkton.
Okay, no J. All right.
Whoever takes this contract is to kill whatever this creature is and bring back proof of the kill.
Like the things
The sponsor for the contract is asking the following as applicable proof of the kill: 3 teeth, 3 claws, a heart, a liver, and 25 pounds of hide. And obviously, these are only if they apply to this creature, because the creature is unknown. So if it doesn't have claws or whatever, then
It was Sibble.
and 25 pounds of hide. The hide can be,
See how much it is.
fur, skin, scales, whatever the case may be, but they want 25 pounds of it. And then upon completion,
30 then.
You will earn the reward for the contract, which is 4,000 gold pieces, and earn your spots in the Slayers Guild.
Still don't know who Ginger really is.
Okay.
And if you decide to take this contract, Aya will be going with you, and he motions over to the female.
Ginger.
Aya, not I.
Not
Rix's,
Yua, but Aya. She's very
Aya.
Aya. Aya.
Aya.
Pronounce it like that.
Not that one.
Spelled as and pronounced as. There you go.
I kind of miss my
Okay.
dipping my.
She
Or is
will
it
accompany
Aya?
you if you choose to take on this contract. Just to make sure that you don't
Mess it up?
do something and kill some exotic creature that you think is exotic and then bring back proof as kill and you didn't even go to Burlington. Just to keep everything
You mean you don't
in
want a flying
place.
squirrel?
I see. So you want a chaperone to make sure we don't try to juke you.
pretty much.
And
And she will help you in your contract as well, the best of her ability.
Yeah.
as a group, do we accept this so that way we can further information after we get to be members? Is this what the group doesn't mind doing?
I don't see much benefit to being part of the group. This is like amongst ourselves. But if it gives us information that we need for Sibble, I don't like it, but I'll do it. I don't like how.
I don't like it. I don't know, I'll do it, but I won't like it.
So this is work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Doctor kind of feels that. I mean, they don't seem like they're out to do harm and really have a negative impact on society or anything. So I don't think doing their contract, at least this one, and joining is bad because they don't seem to represent anything negative.
Okay. I don't have a sending stone to talk to Isaac.
Whip out the blanket and the campfire.
Yeah. If he's
Well,
looking
There's
up.
also no mention of like how quickly this needs to be done.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah. Well,
it would be preferred to be taken, you know, done as quickly as possible. But you know,
We can
you guys can
dilly-dally
take
all we
some
want.
time before you leave to get things that you think you may need and whatnot.
Yeah.
Get into the dart competition.
Okay.
No.
So that's official. He's not putting a time frame on that?
Again,
It's
as
part of the
quickly
contract.
as possible.
Okay. All right. And
We determine what's possible.
when he's saying this, what does Aya look like in her countenance? while he's
She's
talking?
leaning on the pole that she came around from, and then just has her arms crossed and kind of taking in all of you and taking
Okay,
in the
all right.
conversation.
Okay. I'm assuming she feels there's a certain level of confidence she has in us, or she wouldn't have approached us.
Well, it seems like she also spoke to him about it because he said, you said that they knew how to handle themselves. So
Yeah.
it seems like she may have said something
Yeah. So
or had some part in it.
So there looks like there's a little, I'm not going to say it, predestination, that we need to address these problems so that way we might be able to further the information that we need to acquire for Sibble and her brood morbus there. Because this isn't a creature category, and so is the problem she has. And this might lead more particular information that seems to be sanitized from the books that we weren't able to get further information. So this might be a deeper way to get information that wasn't accessible to us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Kara, do you want to spill your guts to him, or were you just
Anyway.
apple?
No. We have agreed to sign the contract for this mission. Just to clarify, this time frame is not
You don't need
numerical.
to all sign. If you guys have a name for yourselves, I can just write that down.
Do we want to just blurt something out and put it there? Because we can always change our name later If we decide we don't like
All
these
that
people,
paperwork, I already have a name.
I
for
can
us.
always cut my hair.
And Sibble's not here. So it doesn't have to be Sibble Incorporated.
Amen.
So I was thinking, because we've grown together as almost like a surrogate family together, and we've lived and almost died together, that I was thinking that we could call ourselves kindred.
Okay.
We're family outside of our own families, and we're looking out for each other.
I immediately thought of like Mennonite cults and stuff.
Well, that's in all stories.
Where's my straw hat?
I mean, I'm not going to put savage justice, or something like that, though I like that.
Mhm.
But I think kindred kind of shows how we've grown together, but still we have more room to go.
Okay. Sure, why not?
Big guy, big girl, cool.
I mean, do we have to pick it today, or we have time to think and maybe suggest?
They
He
wanted
just
to know
asked if
right
you
now.
guys had a name.
This
I
is
mean,
what we're
they
putting
can.
on the contract.
I mean, you
This is
can
just
put
us.
all of your names down, but
Yeah.
he just was
Sibble's
like, I
not
don't need
making-
all your names
Right.
if it's just a group
Condense
name.
it to one,
Yeah.
just like Mike Lines. Condense it to one, and then it's not an issue.
Sibble and Derek
And
aren't part
I
of
was
this
going
group
for
right
kindred because we're all family outside of our norm family. We're living together. We're keeping each other alive. We're helping each other. To me, we're family. We literally fixed a family. We went out of our way. Part of what we did over there. So to me, I mean, we know each other more intimately, and we still will continually. So kindred to me makes sense.
I mean, if that's what people want to do, that's fine. We can go with that name.
now. Let's go for it.
Okay.
Let's just get it done.
We shall call ourselves kindred for this mission.
All right. So he writes down kindred with a question mark.
Yeah, we might morph into something.
Are we family? We don't know.
Oh, like better than Rixix? Maybe later. Then we'll have to challenge him for a duel. Then we'll be called the Mighty.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do that then.
All right.
Hey, can we stay here for the night? And-
Guild
and
members
get to know.
only.
Boo hoo.
Once you are a member, you
I'll
may
just sleep
use
on top of
you may
Invited?
use any Slayer Guild facility as a resting area between missions or in your travels.
Do you guys have access for people who do missions for you, even before they become members, to have maybe like mounts and stuff to ride?
If you don't have horses, we can supply horses if you wish.
Do you have maybe supplies and stuff, sort of?
Yes, we can supply rations and things like that
Yeah, that's
if
fair.
need be.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I appreciate
We
it.
will arrange for that to be at the stables. You just need to let us know when you wish to leave. That way, Aya can also be there as well.
When did you get this mission from Barkston?
Not long ago. This is recent.
And how far away is Barkston?
Not far enough.
2 days ish.
West?
Southeast.
Is there a
Southeast?
point we can put on the map?
What is there?
This is Jeopardy.
Not
What
Berkston.
is-
That's.
Okay.
I'll tell you what's
Yeah,
there. Not
it's
Berkston.
it's essentially over in here.
In the nook.
It's before you go to the Eastwood Forest.
Thank you. All right.
All right, that's what we'll pick up next time.
All right, Laura. Glad to meet your acquaintance, and we will see what this continues into.
All right.
And we'll get to know Ginger better.
Her name is Ginger.